Hello and welcome to the 4Corners podcast. I'm Brad, joined as always by Matt and Shad. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Very good.
I am pensive in the face of bad decisions tonight, is what
Yeah,
I am.
we're going to be talking mostly about the second book of the Wheel of Time, but there were some happenings over the weekend
There were.
that needed to be addressed. What I want to say, I really hate the 2 night events. Like, I hope AEW never dips their toes in that with pay-per-views because it's just exhausting. Like, who wants, I don't understand. I mean, maybe when I was like a teenager it would have been fine, but who wants their whole weekend shot with wrestling?
So I've been in, not recently, but in times past, over 5 years ago. But I've done like the WrestleManias. I did 3 with friends of the show, Chris and Damien. And they were pretty awesome because even if you didn't care about the WWE, didn't care about any of the WWE shows, there was a ton of wrestling that was going on. I think when COVID hit, it dialed back. Now, I mean, it's not. I think it's like a pale limitation. Like I think that they tried to run, maybe it's through GCW or somebody, but they tried to run shows like this past Mania, and it didn't really, I think, get the traction it used to do. But I'm digressing. Point is, like, those shows, those weekends, it'd be like wrestling shows, really starting like Thursday afternoon, Thursday night,
Yeah,
and
you
going
get some
even
Wednesday.
into Sunday.
You get some Wednesday.
Maybe, but for sure Thursday, Friday, it's Saturday heavy, or at least Thursday evening to all the way through Saturday heavy, and you may have had like a show or two earlier in the day on Sunday.
You get like Big Gay Brunch would usually be like an early Sunday show.
Yeah. So you'd get some of that. So it would wind up between all the different indie shows that'd be going on, or even sometimes big shows like Ring of Honor back in the day before it was bought by Tony Khan. It was his own thing. Like they did some shows.
Chikara.
Basically,
you would get
Chikara.
You'd get the WrestleCade would usually do something, like the convention would usually like do something.
Yeah. And obviously, the last few years, you have like Joey Janela's Spring Break and everything.
That infamous witch show that is like considered the worst wrestling show of all time.
Blackcraft.
Yeah, Blackcraft was a Mania.
It's ponderously bad.
Wait, that was a Mania
And
weekend
I'm
show.
glad I've avoided that.
There's so many bad decisions and stuff that should be good because they had to do theatrical nonsense. Like they literally took like the first 20-30 minutes to crucify someone as part of like the whole like gimmick and everything. And it wasn't even like a wrestler. It was just some guy from the crowd. It was like that's part of a plant, and it's like we're starting the show off with crucifying someone. But because
crucifying a stunt granny,
I guess I don't know. Point is, like they spent so much time doing all that stuff that should have been cool, like a penta match. Like it's literally like a minute and a half. I'm not even joking. It's like a minute and a half match.
Oh, I remember. I looked that up, and wasn't like the main event 40 seconds or something.
I think it was like really short like that. Something. Yeah. It's just it's a mess from top to bottom. But point is, like those weekends, you'd have days of wrestling, and I remember going, and I catch some of it. There are some people who are like hardcore, so they'd be watching like 12 hours of wrestling, and I don't know how they do it because I like wrestling. If I was a multi-millionaire, I don't have to work anymore. I don't have to worry about money. I had most of my day, free, or at least portions of my day free. Still have time to spend time with the family, but I don't have to work. So maybe during those work hours, yeah, sure. There's so much wrestling content out there, especially with Japanese content, streaming services, whatever. You can watch a show a day,
Oh yeah,
a 2-3 hour show a day, and still probably have loads of content that you're not even
But you're talking
if
about,
I had the time.
You're even talking about a back catalog though, because like think about think about something like a single promotion. Think about Memphis. Memphis, you have like pretty much um a complete TV run from pretty much 1983 to 1997, and then you have a mostly complete TV run leading up to that from 1979 to 1982. Like that's thousands of hours of TV.
Uh, you had said very basically at the beginning of the year that you're going to try to watch all of the Tokyo Joshi Pro wrestling shows
Yeah,
for
that
the
didn't
year.
go so good.
Yeah, I was like, you know what, that's a good idea, Redhead. I'm going to try that too. It didn't go so well, and that they're not even a company that it's like they run, you know,
No,
20 shows a month. It's like maybe they run a half dozen or so. Maybe
they
depends. It
run.
depends. Like if you're doing a tournament
I could
or
look
what
it
have
up.
you.
They run about 8 shows a month.
Yeah, that's not crazy. That's roughly 2 a week.
It's not like Stardom where
And
they
yeah,
run like 130 shows and there's weeks where like, or even like New Japan, like where if you're gonna watch everything, there might be weeks you're watching a show at night to keep up. Like I made it through February, but like with things going on in my personal life, it's just not viable to keep up with. I think
yeah.
if things settle down the back half of the year, because I think I figured I could probably catch up if I polish a couple shows off a week faster than they come out. But it's just hard. I don't know how those guys like on PWO or other places, and some of them have like family, how they watch as much as they do because they'll be like, oh, I'm gonna watch like this. I'm gonna do this like WCW watch through of 1992, and like it's 3 weeks later, and they're like 3 months in.
You'd have to have really understanding family,
Yeah,
or if you're actually, I mean, if I was getting paid, if you're gonna pay me to watch stuff, like, yeah, sure, maybe I would actually like watch it because there's an actual financial commitment for me to do that. Um, but then again, you turn into people like Brian Alvarez, who it's like he doesn't want to do this
well,
anymore.
and
He's over this.
you end up with those you end up with those guys like grifting too. Like I don't like that's the other thing I wouldn't want to fall into because like I don't know. Dax calling out, was it Jimmy Corderas he called out? Like
Yeah.
I really thought Dax was on point, but it made me I really thought it made Jimmy seem pathetic and kind of sad. Because my takeaway from it was like, yeah, like that really is like pathetic. Because like
Yeah.
because like like, and I feel like it's hypocritical sometimes because we do a show about it, but like I we keep the show fun. Like we have the things we rant about, but like uh, we specifically pick things out we think we're gonna like. We don't pick something out just to crap on it. We do pick out like
Yeah,
things we think are gonna be funny. Like if we watch Herb Abrams UWF, which we're gonna do the other pay per view one day, but like those, we're doing it because we think it'll be funny.
yeah.
And like I
We
just
know it's gonna be bad in some way, but in an entertaining way. It's not gonna frustrate us
Well,
beyond all comprehension.
now wait, hang on.
Well,
I was going to say, let's not jump to conclusions there, because some
well,
of it
fingers crossed.
frustrated me a lot.
yeah, but I mean like we don't set out with like the idea that we're gonna crap on something. It's why we don't talk
We
about
don't.
WWE like a ton because we don't enjoy it. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna start reviewing WWE pay per views because you know why? Because I will literally shit on all of them, and I don't like. What's the point then?
Yeah, certainly. I think not to cut Chad out of this, but certainly I know you, Brad, you and I, like philosophically, like we're not gonna like WWE content. And I have it for a long time because it's beyond certain moral things that they do or lack of morals that they do,
I
immoral things.
it's
But
for me. It's
their
mhm.
content just isn't what I even perceive to be pro wrestling. It's not, and it would frustrate me to no end
Like
because I will just read results because I could hate on a company like WWE for the things that they do and the way they book and etc. But I am such a wrestling fan. I will at least like I'll look and read results. What are you guys doing? Like I will
Yeah.
follow
yeah,
it.
I do it. I do it for the show, and I do watch clips sometimes. And I did watch, and I'll tell you how I know I'm never gonna like WWE. I liked one show they've done the last couple of years, and it was the January Saturday night's main event where it would and their fan base hated it, and they haven't done that again because they stuck to wrestling. They did that cool Jacob Fatu like beating up Braun Strowman thing, and I liked it because it was more my style. It was more like serious, more focused on the wrestling, and their fan base just crapped all over it. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm
not enough moments, not enough Yeet Man going out there.
not enough
not enough
entrances.
Yeets.
But so I
His
just
entrance.
and like, and I'm pretty honest with like I was a WCW fan. Like I like Southern wrestling. I like the flippy stuff I don't like as much, but like if you talk about stuff I like, it's like I like Memphis. I like Mid South. I like Jim Crockett Promotions. I like hard hitting, like gritty wrestling. I like tag wrestling. And WWE is just too cartoony for me. And like what I consider it now, which I finally got a good word for it, I think last year, it's CGI wrestling to me. It's like watching movies now where there's too much CGI and nothing has weight to it. That's like why I don't like
It is.
WWE.
That's you're not the first person to make that comparison, and the WWE is very much like the Disney Marvel movies, which I mean I follow them. I love those movies. You know, when watching through like Avengers Endgame, I thought Endgame was brilliant. Yeah, brilliant not as like, oh, brilliant piece of filmmaking. Brilliant in the sense that you had like a 10-year, 11-year storyline that you were working towards, and you pulled it off, you executed it, and there was a resolution to it. So that's almost unheard of nowadays, where you have like a literally like a decade-long span of a story you're trying to tell, and you kept it cohesive enough to tell it, and that story ultimately got paid off, which it's like, wow, that's an impressive piece of filmmaking. I think that since then, like the Marvel stuff, that's gone way downhill,
Oh,
way
terribly
downhill. I think the
downhill.
quality is not, and by that I mean like the writing I don't feel like is as good, and there is exactly what you're saying. Like there's so
The
much
casting's bad.
CGI, and casting is not always great, but there's so much CGI. Like I remember like seeing a clip. They're showing like a behind the scene for something. Maybe it was Captain America Brave New World, something, I don't know. But it was literally, they were on a soundstage, and it was just the actors are covered in green, and everything is green. That it's like, oh dear God.
Yeah.
Everything except maybe like their faces.
They have like
is going to
they have
CGI
some
green screen, and it's like, Jesus, this is terrible.
they send them to some studio for all that green screen stuff. But what I hate about the green screen though is the human eye, it doesn't fool you entirely. So like they'll be doing this big like sweeping battle in this like small green screen room, and you can still tell like no, they're just in a little room just by the way they're moving and like interacting with stuff. They're in a tiny ass room.
It didn't work whenever the Star Wars movies did it. It doesn't work. You know, you can tell, you know what's going on, and it was really frustrating because in those movies you could tell. It's like, oh God, what are we doing here? And then it's, what do we got is, oh, we have to do this, and then they don't actually move when they go to leave.
Yeah.
They just turn that direction and the camera cuts. And then once you see it, you can never unsee it. So, you're welcome.
Here's a great example. The first Hobbit movie. Remember the head orc guy that they made completely CGI?
Oh, yeah, the like, pale...
Yeah, the pale orc.
Orc leader? Yeah.
So, originally he was supposed to be a real person. And if you go look up production stuff and find pictures of him, he's cool as fuck looking. He would have been awesome in that movie, and then he looks like this terrible cartoon character in The Hobbit.
Yeah.
Look this up now.
Yeah, look up the pale orc. And he like I said, he looks cool as shit.
It's really frustrating because there are so many cases of what could have been really cool following in on practical effects, but
I think
George Lucas had to do everything green screen because he was going to be a control freak.
I think that's why Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie, because so much of that movie is practical effects, especially the action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was a couple years ago I'd watched some CGI horror movie, and then just on a whim right after it I watched Evil Dead. And Evil Dead, like, was made for like $5. So the effects aren't that great. But I was just like, like these effects aren't great, but there's a weight to the practical effects that like CGI just can't do. Unless it's Jurassic Park.
Well, and
Park
you're
did it well.
yeah, the first Jurassic Park we don't have to, but I mean Spielberg knew what he was doing. The thing that happens is that those actors are not reacting to the thing. Like there was a behind the scenes from the Ang Lee Hulk movie, which anyway, what do they do to have? What's that?
I didn't mind that movie.
Okay,
That's not to say that's my favorite, but I didn't mind it.
okay.
It's
But
fine. It's okay. Like,
what happened is, in order to have Jennifer Connelly try and have her emote, is they had a big piece of poster board that had a Hulk face on it, and they had a stick where they're holding it up here for her to look at. And I'm like, I know there are talented actors out there. I know what they're capable of. But that's a tall order.
Yeah. And especially like if you've read like the first Alien movie, they didn't the actors didn't actually know when the chest popper comes out the first time. They knew something was going to come out, but they did not know exactly what was going to happen. So like,
yeah.
And then if you watch The Descent, they didn't show the actresses what the monster looks like until like they were going to do it. And then one of them popped up and they all ran away screaming. Like you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in Alien, they didn't know. I think they knew like it was going to come out, but they didn't know what it was going to look like or how much blood there was going to be. So a lot of that was real. But also, Spaceballs ruined that because with the end, because it's like, oh, you really are being a showboaty little bitch, aren't you?
Yeah.
Even in Alien.
Yeah. Hello, my honey. Hello, my sweetie.
And I do think it's funny they brought Michael Hurt back just for a cameo to do that again.
Yeah.
The best was that happened. He goes, "Oh no, not again."
Yeah. That's a really good movie. I just watched that last year because I didn't like Alien. No, Alien.
Oh, Alien.
Because I watched Romulus, and Romulus left a lot to be desired.
You mean the new Alien that came out
last year?
Like the last, yeah, that got well received.
It had one of the worst lines in the movie because they did this "get away from her, you bitch" thing, and it was totally like not earned and cringy and douchey, and it's like, you're not Sigourney Weaver, like stop trying.
Yeah.
Speaking of, since I mentioned it, you mentioned it. Spaceballs still has one of my favorite comedic like segments in a movie. I saw Spaceballs like a million times since I was a kid because that was great. But
yeah,
when they're chasing Bill Pullman, I forget his actual name in the movie.
Lone Star.
Lone Star, yeah. They're chasing him, and they like, Dark Helmet is telling them to shoot across the bow, and one of the gunners almost like just blows up the ship. And he's like, "I said across her nose, not up it." And then it's like, it's like, this guy's a real asshole. It's like, who's this guy? Like, he's an asshole, sir. I know that. What's his name? It's like, Major Asshole. What? Yeah, Major Jim Asshole. And then it just, the punchline of the joke is that everyone on the crew is actually, their last name is actually Asshole. It's like a whole...
Yeah, I'm surrounded by assholes.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assles.
My favorite part...
It's such a great gag.
My favorite part
that's just
is...
thrown away.
My favorite part is when Darth Helmet gets the ring. He's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you fell for that. Like, you're so stupid." He's like, "This is why evil always wins, because good is dumb."
Good is dumb.
Look, Mel Brooks is a genius, okay? I think it's just safe for us to say that Mel Brooks is a genius and knows what he's doing. And, well, in any event.
I do love, it's highly inappropriate, but I love Blazing Saddles.
Well.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't say it, but I do love that. "Gee, you use your tongue prettier than $20 whore." That's like the one I always catch myself saying to myself.
So,
Matt, I sent you a picture in the group chat of the pale work and practical effect. in your
Oh,
Okay.
I literally just looked. I just looked it up. I was about to say I looked it up. And he does look cool. He looks
he's
what he
terrifying.
remind. He's it's obviously like a non-human look, but it reminds me like the whole getup and everything. It kind of reminds me of like the Kurgan in the original Highlander movies.
Yeah.
If you see like when Kurgan, he has like this big giant like impressive like armor and everything like that. It looks like creepy, even though that's fully human. This is like clearly like, monstrous, but he does look cool. Look, especially if fantasy. I mean, I think that most things it's better with practical effects. Like even a show that I loved back in the day. It's still a favorite show of mine, but Farscape, they use practical effects for most of everything. And
Yeah,
sometimes and people said that derisively, where it's like, oh yeah, like the puppet show. It's like, yeah, there's some puppets in the show,
Yeah.
but it actually worked. It actually was better. And it's like I would rather they do that than like CGI like a little character. No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
The
I
fact
don't
that the
need that
Jim
more
Henson
than
Workshop worked with Farscape
Mm.
to create characters for it is like that's great. You know, you actually have something you're interacting with. But
Yeah.
anyway, that is
Way afield.
way beside the point.
So
Yeah.
anyway, if you don't know, they brought Brock Lesnar back, which it kind of went over like a wet fart. Like I actually think this is the most backlash they've gotten in a long time.
Well, so let's set the stage up briefly before that. Is that this happened because you had John Cena versus Cody in the main event of night 2, the actual main event. You know, a 2-night event, a multi-night event. The main event is the last match.
Yeah,
Let's just
I agree
clear that
with
out.
that.
But point is, like, it was John Cena versus Cody. I didn't see it. I didn't watch it. It's a lot of people are like, oh, it's amazing. Dave Meltzer, who overrates things, but he's like, oh, it was a great match. I'm sure he'll give it 5 stars.
I could
a lot of people saying it's
I could see it being good because I could see Cody's pride refusing to let them bomb another match.
yeah, it probably was good. Well received match, all of that, all the hype for that, the title change, everything out the window.
Yeah.
No one's talking about the match anymore. No one. Like people talked about the match like the minute it was over, and then as soon as like Brock came out, that's all anyone has talked about now for like the last 48 hours. And they should, because it's a major thing.
And I would say I have not even seen anyone like legitimately excited to have him back. It's just a lot of the only people I see that speak of it positively are trying to defend it and like rules lawyer to try and like minimize why people are upset. Because I've seen like hardcore Fed fans that were just like, oh yeah, I just turned it off the second he showed up because no. And that's not the reaction you want.
Some people were upset. I will say, you know, a guy I've talked about before, IVP videos, that guy. He was not whitewashing or diminishing, obviously, the controversy with Brock, which we can get into in a second. But he's saying, like, look, let's set aside that. Let's ignore all that for a second. Why would you want to see him again? He's 48 years old. And I sat through his last big run, and it wasn't impressive like 2 years ago. So
I think
why do you want to like see more of him?
I think that's what makes it worse. That's what makes it worse because, like, we'll get into the controversy, but it's not even like you're bringing like it's not even like he's Hulk Hogan in like 1988, and you're bringing him back, and it's just like
somebody the fan base got tired of.
Yeah.
Like specifically.
Well, as an aside, I would talk about Brock because it affects Brock because Brock is obviously much older. He's 48. But people have noted that in 1993, which is probably after the point that Vince had already was like, oh, Hulk Hogan, you're too old. Like, we need to move. By then, he'd even like, oh, we need to put the title on Ultimate Warrior. Like, he's the guy. But certainly by 93, like, Hogan was almost out the door. And at that point, at 1993, Hulk Hogan was, I think, the same age, maybe, as Cody is right now. Cody's 40.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, John Cena passed the torch to Cody. It's like, So a 48-year-old passed the torch to a 40-year-old. John Cena. When Rock passed the torch to John Cena was like 2-3 years younger than Cody is right now. For all the good that did them, because like they passed the torch to Cena back in the day, and I think Cena wrestled another like 1 or 2 more years, and then he was out the door.
I think that
We
and you remember around that time is when WWF was running the WCW just employs old guys commercials with the billionaire
Yeah.
Ted stuff.
Look, the WWE they don't care about Brock being 48. They should care, because if you look at their roster, they're riding the whirlwind right now. Like, oh, there's such a hot all their top guys, and I just mentioned Cody, are like 40 and up. Like Roman, I think if he's not yet 40, he's about there.
yeah.
And he's already like, he doesn't care anymore. He did this match at WrestleMania. He did what, the tag match?
Yeah.
And he's already, it's like, oh, I'm taking another break. See, you're at Survivor Series. And it's like, he's part-time at best. So you're not really gonna, what are you gonna do? He's gonna be, you can probably get a few more years out of Roman in the sense that he can become like your new Undertaker, where it's like he's gonna pop in for like his Mania payday, be a special attraction a couple times a year maybe. But he's done. So all your guys are like 40 and up. And who are you gonna replace them with? Braun Breaker? Like, he's not there yet.
And
Who?
And he got hurt again.
Yeah. You don't have people to replace him with. You could play Ricky Saints, who's they're like 35, 36.
Sure.
Well,
sure. The way they've treated him since he got there, that's going to be great.
Maybe they're just assuming, oh, well, we'll get like Will Ospreay and like MGF and everything like that. It's like, will you? Because
they don't want to pay, though.
Yeah, you keep the part of the reason, and Dave Meltzer has said this, and he's almost certainly right, especially a guy who's studied the business, including the financials, for like 30, 40 years. Like, the reason why, the real reason why that WWE is counter-programming everything AEW does and is doing everything it can to knock them down, especially as they're getting more and more heat, is because they're terrified that if they don't kill AEW and get rid of them, then AEW will be around and have an entrenched position, and it will be a company that will force them to actually pay money to their employees. Meaning they will have to fight to get like someone to and not everyone will go to AEW. Tony Khan, I think, seems smarter, where it's like he's not gonna hire just anyone.
No, he's learned.
But
I think he's learned.
WWE workers. Yeah, WWE workers can gangle that carrot. Like Chad Gable can be like, I'll go to AEW. And he's a guy they probably would have taken. He can be like, pay me more, otherwise I'm going to go to AEW. And so they, okay. And they probably gave him more money than they wanted to give him. So they want that sort of thing to go away forever.
Yeah.
So they're going to try and kill AEW, if for no other reason than that. Not even like, again, philosophically, there's things that's like, we should be the only wrestling in existence, which is nonsense. But that they want to kill AEW more than anything just for that, so that they can pay their employees peanuts, because they do that shit with UFC, and UFC even had to do a class action lawsuit with them. So the UFC fighters get paid a little more than WWE people, but it's still like ridiculous, because
you know what the worst
they
part
pay
about
like
the worst part about UFC is they were actually, when it was still Zuffa, the pay was getting better, and as soon as TKO took over, that went away. Well, the other problem with UFC though is we don't actually know how much they make, because they get bonuses. Because I think some fighters have said, well, yeah, I got my. If you don't know how UFC works, it's a real quick aside. You get your standard pay is you get, like, let's say you're a mid-level fighter, you get $25,000 to show up and fight. If you win, you get another $25,000. And then there are bonuses on top of that. So let's say you like knock someone out and it's really cool. You might get a fight of the night bonus, which might be, I don't know, some unspecified amount. But I think fighters also said like, oh yeah, like they gave me a bonus, like an unspecified bonus afterwards that was like another 50,000 or something. So it's hard to tell what they make per fight.
Or they have like fight of the night bonuses or something.
And the sad thing is, like, when you get into other companies like Bellator and PFL, it's pathetic, like how much better like Zuffa pays. Because I think in some of those Bellator undercards, like they were paying like these like local bums like 250 to show up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if that? So if I'm gonna say all that's accurate, and I'm not saying it would be. I just don't. I don't know. But let's say it's accurate. So maybe if you're mid-level, you can make like $50,000 a night without any additional. Maybe you get the regular bonus, but not if you don't have like fight of the night or knockout bonus, whatever. So let's say you can get like 50,000 a fight. What you're telling me is if I was in that position, I would want to at least fight twice a year if I could, because then you're making at least in theory you're making 100,000, but you're also like paying money for like
your trainers,
camps, your trainers,
your
all
coaches,
that other stuff.
Yeah, so
really I'd be like maybe I want to do 3 fights a year, but that starts getting dangerous to your body.
Because you can like a lot of those low level guys, especially like low level boxers, lose money on fights because you don't boxing. I think if you're just starting out, Shad might know better. I think if you're showing up for like your first fight, which is probably going to be a 4-rounder, I think you get like $100 a round or something like that. But
yeah, I never got into that side of it.
But the thing you have to realize too with UFC though, which makes it suck, is so let's say you get that $50,000, and let's say you go into that fight and you pop your hand and crack it or something, and then the medical commission comes through and goes like, oh, well that's nice. Well, you're suspended medically for 6 months. So it's March. You can't even step foot like and start really training again until September. So you're probably not going to fight until December. So they just cost you 9 months where you probably can't make any money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where that gets complicated.
So here we go. We have Brock show back up. By the way, that's 2 instances of having the main event having its nuts cut off by what follows the final bell of the match.
Yeah.
And the thing that's killing me is I saw that they did that, and I was just like, oh God, seriously? Are we really doing? Come on, really? And what did I start seeing everywhere? Like the marching orders went out or something of every. I would like to believe that these are all plants or bots or something, but I'm also fair certain it's not true. So a number of people are like, well, he didn't actually do anything illegal. Like, he technically do anything illegal? And I'm like, you sound like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but do you remember Dennis Rodman did the North Korea Goodwill Tour?
Yeah.
I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. And they had him in the press conference. They're like, Mr. Rodman, what are you doing hanging out with Kim Jong-un? What's your problem with him? Well, he's a horrendous dictator. And this Dennis Rodman's leaning in the mic going, what did he do? Tell me. What did he do? You can't tell me. He didn't do anything. You're just making him look bad. Until later someone's like, dude, seriously. And he actually put out, but that's what it sounds like.
Well, and the thing is, like, this is what I told that before the show. So the whole Brock thing, like, I've never gone hard on him because, and I'm talking personally when I talk about on the show, I've never gone super hard at him because it is kind of like the details have always been kind of vague, and he hasn't been given a chance to defend himself. So like so personally, I don't go like, I just ignore him because it's just like a side character. But just because that's my personal opinion in talking about him, I wouldn't do business with him for that same thing, because it's like that you have an ick to you now, even though he didn't do anything illegal. You have an ick to you, but you're also attached to this really horrific thing that is honestly like a massive black eye on the history of the company. And by doing business with him, you're saying like, we don't take it seriously.
It is still an active lawsuit. It is still ongoing. And I would actually, so this is my opinion, like, I actually don't think it's like, well, it's vague. It's not. Like, in this lawsuit, the Janelle Grant lawsuit, he's named 44 times as being involved in this, and being like, well, he didn't do anything illegal. I actually took I bookmarked someone to send a tweet where it's like this person goes, I'd say the what crime did Brock commit people were embarrassing themselves at the moment, but there's no actual evidence any of these people are actually capable of feeling the human emotion known as shame, which is true.
That's
He was named 44 times in the lawsuit. Very specifically, some of the specific claims made against him is that Vince McMahon like was sharing like nude photos of Janelle Grant with Brock, saying like, if you sign a new contract, I'll like, make sure you and her like, meet each other, meeting like, she'll be forced
I'm gonna pimp her out.
Hook up, pimp her out. And there even was supposedly it was set up to go. Like there was a meeting, like they were supposed to like meet up, and the reason it didn't happen is because like Brock had like his private jet or a private plane or some he was gonna fly there, and I guess it was bad weather, and so it's like it's bad weather. I'm not. They won't let flights out because he lives like North Dakota, Canada. I don't know. He lives like
in Minnesota,
in the wilderness.
Yeah. He lives in Canada.
But like, it's
so
not like
they wouldn't let him fly out. So it was only like an actual instance of sexual trafficking didn't happen because because of the weather essentially. So being like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong. It's like, yes, but he was going to.
Yeah,
literally an act of God stopped it.
And it's
or there was an instance where he got too drunk on one occasion to be able to do anything. It's like, now come on, look.
It's an ongoing lawsuit. It's not like he's provided receipts where it's like Vince offers that and he's like, no, get away from me, you creepy old man. Like, there's not like
And they have willingly taken this guy and put him at the finish of their second biggest PLE of the year.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like
and illegal
he apparently
illegal.
Got
it. Illegal is a stupid metric by which to go by that, because if we're going to go by that metric, I would go a lot easier on Hulk Hogan as a human being, because I would rather deal with a racist old man than like what Vince was doing.
Hogan was brought up, and obviously what he did, because he literally days ago died, so he's fresh in everyone's mind. But Hogan, this was brought up especially to counter the people. It's a good counter, in my opinion, to be like, well, Brock didn't do anything illegal. It's like, did Hogan do anything illegal? Actually, no. Hogan didn't do anything illegal, but everyone thinks Hulk Hogan is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Why? Because Hulk Hogan got on tape and just started throwing out the N-word and being upset that his daughter at the time was dating an African American man, and how, he didn't want her dating N-word people.
Yeah.
And then when he had the chance to actually legitimately apologize, the infamous, we talked about it when it's like, oh, they gotta watch out for these cameras, brother. It's like, that's not an apology. That's like, uh-oh, you caught me saying something I shouldn't have. Like, better watch out for those people trying to have a gotcha. It's like, that's not the issue here. The whole spying on you with tapes, it's that you castigating an entire race of people negatively. And there's been other instances. People have noted them. We talked about them. It's like there are other instances where he used very disparaging comments towards black people. There was a story in the last, earlier this year, where he was associated with that whole, Real American Beer, which I'm sure it's just they paid him to, promote it. But, I don't know how much ownership he had or how involved he was. But there was a story that he or the company had hired an African American woman who I don't remember her name, and I don't know a lot of viral people on social media. Sorry.
I make it a point. I make it a point of not knowing who those people are.
I could name you maybe. We've mentioned on the show. I can maybe name you a guy like Mr. Beast. That's somebody that I could kind of know. But he's probably he's a millionaire because of this. So he's the biggest one. So it's the biggest one I can kind of know. But I don't know social media influencers. But anyway, the company hired an African American woman who I think is some sort of social media influencer. Once they found out she was black, they fired her. Or Hogan. They said Hogan, which I don't know the details. Maybe it's just equating things to Hogan that
it's probably
wasn't worth it. But it sounds true, where it's literally this year Hogan was credibly accused of being like, oh, we hired a black woman to promote the beer. No, get rid of her. Hogan, none of that's criminal. None of that's criminal.
No.
But he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So being like, oh, Brock didn't do anything criminal. And that's something that everyone's favorite, like, Fed fan, Raj Giri,
Yeah.
actually posted, oh, Brock didn't do... He was worse. His exact quote, Brock never did anything wrong. Full stop.
Whoa.
Full
Like-
stop. If you want to play the semantics game where it's like, well, he didn't do anything illegal, it's like, again, he was going to maybe do something illegal. The weather stopped him.
Well,
But even if you want to play like you want to play the fine-tuned game, it's like, well, technically I do anything illegal. Yeah, again, it's not
You
illegal
could-
to call as a white man to call a black person the N-word. But if you do it, you're a piece of shit.
let's
it's
let's play his
there's-
game though. We could probably weasel around and nail Brock on revenge porn laws.
Oh,
if we
I could
really
actually.
wanted to get if
Potentially,
we wanted to
yeah.
use their logic, we could I mean, and I would say it wouldn't be like a stretch, but like you could twist things around and say he did do something illegal.
So
Maybe.
there it gets no. Brock did do something illegal. We got to go back a little ways, but Brock and
yeah.
Sable carrying on together while Sable was still married to Mark Marrow. Okay, that's not illegal. But when she broke stuff off with him and he broke into the house to sit there and wait for her, yeah, that's illegal. Whether or not they pursued it or took it to court or what, that's breaking and entering. And let's be honest, breaking and entering and sitting there in somebody's house waiting for them to come back when they said they don't want to see anymore, you could probably work that into, I don't know, assault, maybe some terroristic threatening, something like that, stalking, I don't know. Like, let's not be stupid here, but it's too late. This already, like, off to the races.
And I would say it's also bad logic, because when you say he didn't do anything criminal, like there's some criminal actions that I think, especially for like an athlete or a wrestler, that are more forgivable than what he would be involved in. Because you say that, but okay, well, what if he's just a dumb motherfucker when he was 18 and got into some bar fights and shit that he grew out of? You know what I mean? Like there are things who did something criminal. It's like, okay, well, what did he do? Because there's a huge swath of criminal activity in how severe it is.
You don't throw out blanket accusations or blanket absolutions. You just don't do that. And then the other side to it is, illegal or not, this is not good behavior. And the fact that that's what you're jumping to is like, well, he didn't do anything illegal. You're
look
trying to.
I have a law degree. I have a bar license. I'm an attorney. Like, I'm a licensed attorney. I know, and saying that you're an attorney, like, there's a lot of really stupid people who are attorneys. Trust me, I know. In the legal field, I know a lot of dumb attorneys.
Some of the dumbest.
I'm not saying like
some
that.
Some of the dumbest people I've ever had to deal with on a professional level are attorneys. Like, I had one once. He mailed me a 40-page PDF. It was 300 megabytes, and I'm like, "What did you do? Did you have it scan the individual grains of the paper?" Like, I don't. And they're like, I said a joke where it was like, it was an office meme, but they want to fax you, and I'm like, and the meme was like, a fax, like, why don't you just send it over on a dinosaur?
Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm an attorney, so I know, not that makes me special or makes people special. Only in the slight sense that you got to do a lot of schooling, but again, there are dumb people who do it, who can pass the bar exam. I'm really saying, like, I have a legal background, so I know. Oh yeah, I actually can play with the language of things, so I know quite well I can make an argument. It's like, well, it's not technically illegal, and I can probably twist things to the point where I get an argument with you, and I can twist things around and everything like that, where you'd be like, fine, like you maybe you acknowledge, well, it's not illegal, but that means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Trying to be like, well, it's not illegal. It's like people like who are going to defend this, who are making that argument, they're already ceding the battle in a sense. It's a sleight of hand maybe, but they're already showing you their cards. It's like they're holding the cards up so you can see them, and then they're playing the deck. And it's like, I already know your cards. What you're doing by saying, "Oh, it's not illegal." It's like you know that this is completely not morally justified. You can't justify this
And
because of everything going on. Just like you said, Brad. It's like, okay, maybe like I don't know if he did this, whatever. Like he hasn't given his side of the story, but I still wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole
yeah,
because of all this. It's
that,
Yeah,
there's a
radioactive.
look,
there's a
The
difference.
people who are being like, "Oh, it's not illegal," it's like this is bullshit.
look. The statement to say, "Oh, he didn't do anything illegal," is trying to claim an immoral victory off of immoral or
Yeah.
a moral victory off of
Amoral.
immoral behavior.
And and there's
yeah.
like and there's a big difference like with what I was saying too of like I just kind of ignore him and I don't go hard at him because of specific reasons of I just don't feel like there's bigger fish to fry in that instance. There's a difference between saying that like with your show for entertainment and oh I wouldn't do business with him for like 5 seconds because it's
No.
because of all that. And the other thing with the illegal thing that's dumb is almost anyone working in any company of any size is under a morality clause for their employment.
Oh yeah, that you can be cut loose for what they consider to be immoral behavior.
Yeah, and that can be like well what he fell into, but I mean like it can be for a variety of reasons. So legality is not. I don't think legality for this situation is a strong argument.
That's not the bar to go with here. That's
like
the lowest possible bar for it.
Because, like I said, then are we gonna absolve Hulk Hogan? Because, like I said, if you're saying like who would you rather deal with, Hulk Hogan or Brock Lesnar, I'd be like Hulk Hogan. Like I wouldn't want to.
I mean,
but
could I deal with neither one and be
Yeah.
happier that way?
But it's like the ick factor is much like I don't look at him and go ew.
Again,
I mean,
Hogan may have been. Like Hogan was a racist, but in some ways, it's like that. Again, your choice here, you don't have to deal with any of them. But I mean,
Yeah.
if you racist or rapist, it's like what's worse. It's like you don't want to say that one is better
yeah.
or one is worse because it's like completely immoral. But it's like, I guess the one may be a bag of shit towards African American talent, but you might have to worry about Brock and Brock has a history. Like there's stories of him like exposing himself to Terry Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. So it's like Brock may actually be like a liability backstage in part.
Well,
Like, you have
the
to
thing
watch.
the thing with the Terry thing though, I hate to defend him. It was 20 years ago and he was young because like, and I hate to defend him because I don't even like watching Randy Orton or like him on my TV, but you do run into things where like Randy Orton did some really shitty things and then he had a kid and he grew up and he seems to behave himself now. Like, people do. I mean, obviously
But
Brock didn't, but I'm just saying like I don't.
it can also set a pattern of behavior.
Yeah. I
And
just bristle when people bring up like 15-year-old examples of like no, like do
so
newer.
I would say that it works.
In this
It works as
situation,
part of a series.
Yeah.
It's a pattern of behavior. If you want to bring up Orton being a douche nozzle, well, yes, Orton was a douche nozzle, and then he cut that out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care for Randy Orton. I never really have, but you know what? The fact that he cut that crap out and
He
you
grew
know,
up, it seems.
yeah, it's like, okay, all right, I can, okay, sure, like, okay, that much we can talk about, but yeah, they brought back Brock Lesnar because why? Because what does Triple H do? He brings back or debuts people. That's one of his like 3 or 4 crutches. And everyone has crutches in doing something creative, but he doesn't seem to do much other than lean on his crutches. And
I just what do you even get out of Brock Lesnar? That's because I think IVP makes a great point. Is you take out the icky stuff. That is reason enough. That's reason enough to not deal with him. And why
Mhm.
wouldn't? But so take that away. What do you even get out of him? Like that's. And people
don't
were
know.
sick of him last time. Like he wasn't even drawing
Yeah.
when you were there last time.
so,
That's
Go ahead, Matt.
Go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say, like, again, for all the criticism that a lot of people throw criticism at Tony Khan, and first off, they're doing criticism of maybe flaws he had like years ago at this point, or it's projection. But what does Triple H do? Like, it's all most of so I don't know that there's this big long-term plan for Brock. It's just like, oh, you got your big SummerSlam moment, and the extent that the WWE fandom may view it, it's like, well, he can go up and stink up the joint, kind of, and that may be fine. But they'll mark for him like coming out to his music and everything like that. But it's all about moments, Well, it went viral.
I think it's them admitting they're desperate because they know the only thing propping them up right now is Cena.
Okay, so this brings up something else funny as well, because by the way, WWE quit doing pressers entirely that were Triple H's ideas. Quit doing them entirely so they wouldn't have to answer such difficult questions of what's it like to run a show in Omaha. Like, the towards the end their questions were so blasé that if you took them to a backyard cookout, nobody would eat it because it's too bland. Triple H said, we brought back someone that Cena said he wanted to work with in his retirement. John Cena said outright, and this was reported through Bleacher Report, said his reaction to Lesnar SummerSlam return, they deal him, I play him.
And you can.
He didn't. He's saying, I didn't ask for him back. They decided this.
There's this other magical concept, Triple H. If Cena said, I want to work with Brock, you can say, no.
Yeah, but that's not what it is. Cena is saying, I didn't ask for that.
He is the biggest weasel in wrestling.
He is.
Triple H.
That's why I hate him.
Paul,
and he's a coward.
Anytime there's a good something good or what's well received, by good I mean well received, not that it's good in quality, but well received by the fans, the WWE fans at least, he takes credit for it. And they even tried the line. It's become a joke now, but he tried the line where it's like, oh, I don't want to be the star of the show, and it's like he's out there every 30 seconds. He has got his face planted everywhere, and to the point where even Dave Meltzer has said that this new show they're doing, I think is it on Netflix, WWE Unreal. It's like a behind-the-scenes thing, and he's everywhere on it. I haven't watched it. He's everywhere on it. And Dave Meltzer said, like, the intent of this is he is trying to make himself the Dana White of the WWE, which I presume so that, besides just an ego stroke, so that it's easier, it's harder from him to be removed, which he could be probably anytime, The Rock decides, like, you got to go.
Yeah.
Point is, like, anytime there's a good thing, well-received thing, he's like, oh, he takes credit for it. Anytime there's something that is not well-received or it's controversial or whatever, it's like, oh, he passes the buck. He throws someone else under the bus.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, John really wanted to bring in Brock and work with him. And literally, within, like, 24 hours of him saying that, John Cena's like, I'm just here for my retirement run. Like, they tell me what to do. I'm like, okay. Like, he completely, like, threw it back on Triple H. It's like, don't look at me.
Oh, did you see, by the way, Dave Meltzer's response about how the Brock Lesnar return's going to go?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the clip where he goes,
mocking,
they're going to, wait, hang on, let me do this properly. Let me do it proper, Dave. So, they're gonna have the video on YouTube, and it's gonna get like, I don't know, 75 million views, and then there are gonna be all these podcasts. They're gonna be like, oh my God, Brock came back, and no one's gonna care. And I just,
I
laughed and laughed at Dave Meltzer raking people over the coals on that.
Meltzer is underrated funny.
Dave Meltzer is a 65-year-old man. But when he gets catty, he is a hilarious dude. He is absolutely stone cold funny.
What's my favorite Dave exchanges is because Dave is real dry, and you can tell when Dave's like not being serious. But when when some dumbass on Twitter is like arguing with him and Dave isn't being serious back, and they keep going at him like he's being serious, that just makes them look so stupid.
By the way, the other thing about this whole thing that just, I mean, absolutely pissed me off. Oh my God. Was the whole thing's like, how in the hell did you bring Brock back? Why would you do that? And what was the response I saw to about half of them? Like, well, AEW, employed a rapist. I'm like, first of all, who the hell are you talking about? Like, dead serious. Name. Don't just say
Jericho.
it.
Jake Atlas.
I assume that
Jake Atlas, I think.
he didn't rape Jake.
I don't know who Jake Atlas is.
Jake Atlas was an indie star. He was briefly signed to the WWE.
Okay.
Blew out. No, he got released there. Then he got signed by AEW. Had like 1 or 2 matches, maybe just one.
And then the allegations came out, and they literally shot him out of a catapult into the sun.
He did like a move off the. I almost did like a lion salt or something. He did a move off the rope, blew out his knee, and like was going to be on the shelf for like a year or something. He's an out gay man. He was, I think they were in Florida. There was someplace out. He and his partner, who it was unfortunate because it was like, I think the guy got outed, but he was like, I think he was like an NXT wrestler. He was like in the business too. Like he was dating another wrestler, Jake Atlas, and they got into some sort of like drunken argument because Jake Atlas, it seems, had like a drinking problem. They got into some sort of argument at a bar. Jake Atlas got physical with him, like, and it became a scene, and it got reported in like the news and the media, wrestling media at least. And yeah, AEW immediately, as soon as that happened, got rid of him. AEW has rarely fired people. It's Tony Khan usually likes to just let contracts lapse. But there are some people that he's fired. Like like Jimmy Havoc is one that it came out with the whole speaking out. It came out that he was accused of assaulting a woman.
Yeah.
Gone. I think who they're probably referring to, because I saw it the last couple of days, it's like, well, AEW's no better. And it's like,
Are they doing the stupid ass Jericho thing because it's been
exactly
that's one of them.
No, and that's it. Oh, Jericho, they're pulling Jericho, and it's like, I'm gonna pause you there because I don't want to seem like I'm defending AEW over WWE. I will say this: there is, in a court of law, there has been filed. So if I'm filing something in a court making allegations, there's a little more weight to it because I had better have something to corroborate the allegations I'm making, and it could be up to a jury whether a jury or a judge decides that the evidence I produce to corroborate is worth a damn. But I mean, I have something to back up my allegations. Brock, again, has been named 44 times.
Yeah.
So Janelle Grant is like putting it on the line. He was involved, and I have this evidence to prove it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's different than like Jericho. It's Nick Hausman got on a podcast and insinuated that Chris Jericho may have done something inappropriate with Kylie Ray, a wrestler, Kylie Ray, who was at the very beginning of AEW, and then she left under like mysterious circumstances. If you know about it, because I followed the situation with Kylie Ray for a long time, because it's like she seemed like she was going to be the face of the women's division at that time, and all of a sudden she was gone, and it's like, what's the deal? And I think even Cody may have said at the time, "Oh,
they were trying to pin that on Cody too."
They tried to pin it on Cody as like Cody had like said something or done something to her, not done something like inappropriate, but I mean like said something or was rude to her or whatever.
He was
there was some of that back in the day.
Yeah,
and Cody, I think I again, this is years ago at this point, so I don't want to misremember things, but my recollection is that Cody, I think, had given it like a non-answer, but a telling answer. It's like, we can't talk about that. It's like a medical issue, so we're not going to talk about it. And if you know anything about Kylie Ray, because again, I followed her a little bit, she then popped up later on in TNA and then also left abruptly.
And did the same.
It's because she's done it with multiple companies where she like goes in it because it seems like she has legitimate like mental health issues, and I don't mean like
Yeah.
I only mean like she seems like she has like perhaps or has at points clinical anxiety.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard, and that can be a terrible thing. And you're now you're in a profession where it's like go out and perform in front of dozens or hundreds or thousands of people. If you got anxiety, like that's going to be a lot. There are some people that I know who have clinical anxiety. It's like going to the grocery store
Yeah.
is too taxing for them. They go to the grocery store at like 3 a.m. if it's open, 3 a.m. where there's like no one because that's what they can handle. They can't handle. So now imagine if someone has anxiety, it's like go and perform in front of like a few thousand people. It's like it may be too much. So I'm not hating on that, but that's what I'd heard. It's like she's got anxiety, like that's why she can't do this necessarily. That's what I had heard. But then Nick Hallison made the implication. It's like, oh, Chris Jericho tried to do something to her, and that's why she left. And I don't know that that's true or not. It could be true. It could be true at all. But Nick Hallison made that allegation, and then he's like, oh, no, I never said it was that. I never said Chris Jericho did that or with that person. And then he disappeared off the face of the planet. And people are assuming that it's true because like someone on Twitter posted something, not even Nick Hallison, someone posted something where it's like, oh, support women or support Kylie Rae. And she responded to that with a heart emoji.
Yeah.
And
because that's the only response you can put on Instagram without replying.
But people said, oh, that's verification that all of these allegations happen. And it's like, again, I didn't want to be like poo-poo talking shit about Brock Lesnar and then giving Chris Jericho a passing. I don't know. I'm saying it could have happened with Chris Jericho. But the person who, in theory, it could have happened to is not saying anything. And I don't think you can read a heart emoji into like as proof of things.
And you can't. I mean, I hate to say this, but you can't believe anything she says either because she got caught using She got caught using that troll account earlier this year. Or it's strongly suspected she was running that troll account.
The Heel Uzi account. Yeah. Like people have noted because Heel Uzi is a very pro WWE account, but it's one of the more toxic ones where it's like it isn't just like let me retweet like a Raw clip and Raw Riot. It's like let me post like a diatribe about how Mercedes Moné is like a piece of shit and awful and like terrible and like really disparaging things. And people have noted like because he's gotten banned from Twitter multiple times.
Yeah.
Because of this behavior, like toxic, like violating the rules, like level of
he or she
toxic
because
behavior on
there's
Twitter.
A strong connection.
Well, people are like, oh, it's her. It's actually her in disguise because every new account, it's like he'll get banned and then he'll create another account.
And she follows him like instantaneously.
Yeah. Like let's say he creates an account at like 12:01 p.m. on a Friday, like she'll follow him at like 12:03, like, and it's like, how do you even know this person has popped back up?
Yeah.
And someone has said like, oh, it's not actually her. It's actually we know who it is. It's like some like 40-something-year-old person in like California, whatever. And which may be true. I don't know. But it's also like Kylie Rae must know him, or meaning like they like DM or something that it's like you follow.
I think she has.
You follow him instantaneously. I don't know. So it's suspect if like, and she signed her WWE Real ID. She's the women's Real ID champion, which is like that's their like developmental of development.
Yeah, and
like it's
highly suspect that she got that deal signed when she's highly unreliable, but
well, that's probably why they signed her to a Real ID versus like her in NXT because it's like.
But I'm saying it's suspect that
if you flake on us on the indies.
Yeah, but she got that deal. She got that deal though when Heel Uzi was like at its like absolute worst.
Maybe.
So the damn thing. I'm sorry, Matt. Finish your thought.
I'm just gonna say like I'm trying to be fair in that I can try to believe the allegations about her, but if it is her, which it's implied to be, but she's never made any specific allegations. And that she has then done something. I'm not even going to be like, oh, she's unreliable, which I can understand given her behavior. You could view her that way, but it's also like, well, if this did happen to you, you won't come out and say it, which is you're right, but you won't come out and say that this happened, and then you're signing with the company that is currently in a lawsuit and under investigation for sex trafficking. So it seems very like things don't necessarily add up. It just seems odd.
And the other
That's
thing,
me trying to give her the absolute benefit of the doubt.
the other thing with it too is, so we've all been around internet spaces for a long time, and we know people. We know people that know people. I've really never heard anything about Jericho in that regard.
Not being a
It's
sex pest of that sort. Maybe maybe he
being a
was laid with his
philanderer.
wife.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, like, but even that, like,
but consensually
yeah,
Yeah.
with other.
It
Well, him
seems-
being consensual with other
it
women.
seems-
I
it
don't know if his
seems-
wife is consensual.
well, my guess is, based on what I'm guessing, is he has permission to bang when he's on the road, is what I would guess. But that's not the same thing, though.
That's just conjecture.
Yeah, but that's not the
Um,
same thing, though. If he
No.
like being a whore is not the same as like.
So
Oh, and
the thing that
just as a random aside, before we get to Wheel of Time, MJF was quite good in Happy Gilmore too. As an aside,
Okay.
while I'm thinking about it.
just what I was going to say is the stark difference. Number one, the difference between, like you said, Matt, being in a court filing, which can open you up to like, you better be damn sure about it if you're going to put it in a court filing. Number two, the Chris Jericho allegations being based off of strictly inference. And then number three, people also throwing it at Darby Allin, which that was something that was explored and finished out as he may have been a very crappy significant other, but nobody's backing that allegation up. His ex-wife doesn't back it up. Like nobody's backing.
The Darby allegations, I remember those, and it seemed very, I'll say suspect. It seemed more like maybe Darby was a piece of shit himself, but just like you were like a bad partner and you were
Immature,
just, a dick.
In a bad place in life.
Yeah. Versus like you actually committed a sexual assault or something very gravely criminal.
And the other
that's
thing,
trying to give him a pass. I'm just saying, like, if we're actually talking,
but it's not the same thing.
Matter. These things do matter in like the court of law or court of public opinion. But I mean, in like an actual criminal, it's like, are you a criminal or are you just like a dick bag?
And the difference between Brock and Jericho, with what you're saying with being in a court of law, there is like a list of things that Brock has said to have done. Like I don't know them in great detail because reading that stuff is way too dark. But there's no idea of what Jericho did. Like, did Jericho hit on her at a bar and she was like, "No, thank you"? And he's like, "I am sorry, ma'am. I'm going to go over here and do something else." Like, did he drag her to a? You know what I mean? Like, there's no, like, people say that, but like, okay, well, what did Jericho do? Okay.
Nobody has a name for that, and it's this horrible. Okay, anytime someone does a whataboutism, then I immediately write it off as you don't actually have a rebuttal. You're trying to distract. I'm here, and you're going, "Oh, what about this over here?" And it's like that doesn't actually answer anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't answer it. Okay, sorry. That's enough of that. Myth. Story fades to myth, myth fades to legend, and legend is also lost in the turning of the wheel. Book 2 of the Wheel of Time, The Great Hunt, begins 6 weeks after the end of the Eye of the World. Matt, let's get it going, man. Tell us.
So did you?
What did you want to say about The Great Hunt?
Did you like this better than the first book?
I did. I did like this better than the first book.
This has one of my favorite scenes from the series. So I don't remember the exact thing, but Lan tells a joke and starts laughing at himself, and Rand's like, "That's really disturbing."
Yeah. Well, I wrote like a couple pages of notes here.
Go for it, man.
It's gonna be like going through like the plot, but also adding some notes. So the book starts off like with the gathering of Dark Friends, which I was kind of like, this is interesting, but I did like it in the sense that it can kind of, from a narrative perspective, world building perspective, it kind of does show that Dark Friends are like, I can say a force, but definitely like there is a conglomeration of Dark Friends, and they made what that Jordan did is he made a point to show like they're from like kind of all backgrounds. and
Yeah.
different countries too, where it's like they're all together.
And some of them are
And
not just to, they come in later, but not all of them are like, some of them are remorseful about their decisions and don't have like an out. So like there is like
They didn't think it was serious.
Yeah.
yeah, or maybe they thought they could. It's almost like you join a club and it's like, oh yeah, sure,
Yeah.
but then it's like, okay, now you have to go
Like,
assassinate someone, and it's like, whoa, I didn't want to do that.
Like,
Like what do you mean? It's like they have to pay the piper,
like the Dave Chappelle
their
bit
membership dues.
with the blind guy and the KKK.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I really like about that scene, Matt, I'm sorry, I'll keep it quick.
Oh yeah.
The point of view character for that goes to great lengths through that point of view to hide his identity. Through that whole sequence, he is simply referred to as the man who calls himself Boars. He doesn't flake to anything that who he really is or anything like that, because he doesn't trust other Dark Friends. He doesn't trust anybody else there to know who he really is. And to me, that is very telling of the Dark Friend structure and mentality. Okay, sorry. I just really like that detail.
And I like that. I like that with the detail too. What you're saying is like, it adds layers to the White Cloaks, in that the White Cloaks are jerks, but they're not necessarily wrong about Dark Friends.
They're wrong, but it's that they are vastly overstating it. Like they might. It's hard to put words to. Anyway, Matt, please continue.
Well, another thing about the scene is that besides like showing like they come from kind of all backgrounds or what have you, I also like the fact that he did a good job also implying like, well, some of them have their own motives.
Yeah,
because it kind of conveyed to me, it's like, oh, these guys, they're in theory all on the same team, in service to the Dark One, that they're all kind of just backstabbers. They're all of them are the Starscreams, to use a TV tropes.
yeah.
Kind of all are like the Starscreams for each other. So yeah, I don't recall like the exact time frame, but you said like 6 weeks after the events of the Eye of the World.
Yeah.
Rand and the group and everything, they're still kind of recovering. Rand, which it's like I feel he got better as the book progressed. In different ways, like better in the sense like he became increasingly more disturbed with his role as the Dragon Reborn, over the course of the book. But he was a little bit like all like a sad sack at the beginning of the book here. It's like, I don't want to be the Dragon Reborn.
Yeah.
And I guess some of that can be like reasonable, because it's like he's been his head full. Well, really his entire life. It's like, oh, like remind me again how to pronounce nonsense.
Which one?
Aes
Sedai.
Aes Sedai.
Yes.
The Aes Sedai, like they will take anyone who's potentially a dragon and just gentle them.
He'll take every male channeler and basically gives them a death sentence.
Yeah, and they also he's told stories like from Tom that like his Tom's nephew was a channeler and got gentled, and it basically killed him. Like he went crazy.
Yeah.
Died or committed suicide or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like terrified. He knows like I can channel. Like there's something wrong with me.
Well, and you have to remember too, just as an aside, but every time he touches it, like he feels the corruption, because he always talks about how gross and sickening like it is when he reaches out there. So that has to also be pretty traumatizing.
There's been like 1,000 years of everything, like male channelers being blamed for everything being wrong.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And he kind of, I think in this book, does he start kind of learning his coping mechanism in this book?
I don't think that starts yet.
Is that book 3 then?
I think so.
Okay.
which I will hopefully start reading in a few weeks, book 3. And then maybe we could do another show when I finish that. But that's gonna, again, these are long books, and I
They are.
only have a certain amount of
Yeah.
time in the week
It's
to
true.
read them.
It's true.
Book 3 is a quick read comparatively, I think.
Anyway, so Rand's all conflicted. He's a little, to me, he's like almost annoying. It's like, but I mean, I get it. Like, he's afraid of being gentle. One thing I liked the training sequence that he did with Lan, where Lan has been trying to teach him like swords play, and so he's teaching him all these different forms. And Jordan, I don't feel really described like the forms, but he described, like, he gave them names, where it's like,
Yeah.
That'll play into that plays into
That was intentional.
because that comes up a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, like and you get it more towards the end. We can get it when we talk about the end of the book. You can get it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Rand is doing these forms, but it's not, to me, it wasn't as explicit as it is at the end. But when some of these forms, he's kind of doing the channeling when he's doing a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
He's in the
Certainly
same
at the end.
headspace.
At the end, he absolutely does, but he's
Mhm.
doing the forms, and maybe at this point he's just learning the forms. It's not,
Mhm.
the channeling isn't bleeding through.
Right.
Which I had actually read up on this. Not trying to spoil the books for me, but at this stage, his form of channeling, because he keeps mentioning it, it's like the void.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what
we're
we're talking about. Are we talking about his like coping?
Yeah,
Like,
the
way he copes with like the anxiety and stress of everything is that he like lets his mind go blank, but it's
Well, he
actually like a
kinda-
form of channeling.
He kind of uses.
That's what I understand it to be.
So, his coping mechanism. It's not spoiling anything. So, the void and like the forms he's learning, he kind of uses that to segregate the corruption to the side, so it doesn't affect him as much. Is kind of how he kind of copes with it.
The flame in the void is because his father taught him that. The flame in the void is a method of concentration. It is a way of controlling your emotions, controlling your reactions. So it's a way of making yourself kind of detached and dispassionate, so you don't let other things get in the way. That state is the way that Rand learns how to touch the source. And it happens, a similar thing happens in the Aes Sedai training. The men, whenever they reach for the source, they have to reach out and grab the damn thing and ride the lightning to control it. Women, they're the female half of the source. The description is that they have to contact and submit it, so they can't force it to do anything, but they can guide it. And so they have various methods of reaching that state of focus to be able to do it. It's not so much like Rand uses that state of focus because his father taught him that state of focus, so he used it for archery. He used it for learning the sword. But he also used it for channeling, and he's not necessarily channeling with it, but that is the state in which he's capable of it.
And that's why that does help him with the corruption, like as time goes on.
Because it separates him from it.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I mean, you get a little bit of that early on.
Yeah,
it does. It does help him. Like, you don't get all of that right now in the beginning of the book. You just understand, like, him doing this like does help him kind of process all this, and it's interesting. You also know a few Matt and Perrin are kind of there. You have the girls, Egwene.
Yeah.
And
Nynaeve.
Yeah. Again, I want to pronounce them like but Nynaeve.
Look, it's Nynaeve.
Okay. Nynaeve. So they're there, like, it's but we learn that that Fane has been captured, right? He was captured, and Moraine, I think Moraine was like kind of interrogating him at points, but he's there in like the crypt, the keep of the where they're in
Faldara.
what?
It's the fortress of Faldara in the Borderlands.
Thardal, but Shinar is the nation or country.
Is it Shinar?
I think
It
so,
might
right?
be Shinar.
Shinarian,
Yeah, yeah,
Shinar.
yeah,
Yeah.
Shinar. You
So
had it right. You had it right.
yeah, and so he in like the castle, whatever the castle's name, but and you learn obviously this is like from the Eye of the World that um they had found the dagger Matt's dagger that he's corrupted him, but they also found the Horn of Heroes,
Horn of Valir. Yeah,
Horn of Valere,
yeah,
which is, I guess it's kind of a fantasy trope in part here because it's obviously a powerful magical artifact that
yeah.
once you blow it, that the heroes of the horn will appear to help, and it's prophesized that blowing the horn, like they will appear to help with the battle against the Dark One.
Yep.
So it's this magical artifact. They have it. They got it at the end of the Eye of the World, and it's there at the castle. And Rand is also like concerned because he hears that the Amerlin seat,
Yeah.
which is the head of the Aes Sedai, is coming.
Yep.
And that's where he's like afraid, like I'm gonna be gentled.
Yeah.
So there was one thing that I really liked here too. Like they had there's all the setup. You have Rand being afraid. Like you have Egwene and Nynaeve. They're kind of like excited because the Amerlin seat, Rain, whatever. Like they want to they want to be Aes Sedai too. But one thing I really thought was cool with Fane, they have Fane there, and they kind of initially presented to me, it's almost like your standard fantasy stuff where it's like, oh, they captured like one of a notable bad guy and he's there in the keep. But Jordan did a good job where he built it slow. It's not obvious right off the bat to me. It wasn't obvious.
Yeah.
But Egwene takes Rand there, and it's kind of like, well, sometimes visit him or he's there.
Yeah.
And Jordan does this thing where you kind of get on where it's like there's something, and you don't know this right off the bat. You learn more. Is at the very the last chapter is like a page long. The next to last chapter, where it's like the wrap up of things, like Moraine mentions this, and she flat out basically says, something they kind of alluded to, is that Fane, when you're introduced to him in Eye of the World early on, the first couple chapters, he's supposed to be like a peddler or whatever, but you then learn like he's a dark friend, so he's been like hunting, and he was tasked with hunting Matt, Perrin, and Rand because it was suspected that one of them may be the dragon, so he's tasked with hunting them. But what you don't know is that he was basically taken in by the Dark One and experimented on, and whatever that did to him, it corrupted him in really unforeseen ways. And what you start getting here when it's like they see him in the crypt is that there's something deeply wrong with him, to the point where he starts getting his and this is something that I'll get to this in a second when we talk more about the book. There are things about Fane that I thought was cool, because there are things about, it's like there's something now deeply wrong. He's starting to edge into the trope of a humanoid abomination, and that his very presence starts corrupting the things around him, because there's two guards that are like guarding the crypt, the keep.
Yeah.
And I think it's Egwene says like they used to be nicer, but they started becoming like odd. Like they started becoming like meaner, crueler, like more, there's something like up with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of basically implied like Fane's very like presence there is now actually corrupting them. Like it's turning them evil.
Yep.
Which is a really like, that's edging into like a human, like a horror aspect to this fantasy series, that the very presence of this entity, Fane, this person, is now causing some sort of metaphysical corruption of their soul. So there's that. The ambulance seat shows up. You learn actually that she and Moraine are good friends, and that they do know that Rand is the Dragon Reborn, or suspected, but you know that they now are basically in collusion against the Aes Sedai. That they don't want a gentle. They want to make sure that he is able to become the dragon like he needs to be, and they're gonna like hatch this plan to make that happen, and kind of guide him as he grows, and I guess prevent what we don't know. Again, it's 2 books in, in the book. It seems like the plan is like we need to kind of help get him to where he needs to be to fight the Dark One, and make sure he doesn't go batshit crazy in the process, because that's what happens to all male channelers. But
Yeah.
there's all that setup, and then what happens? It's like someone tries to assassinate the ambulance seat, and then there is this kind of mini attack or invasion of the castle by Trollocs and at least some Fades, maybe at least one or more Fades, and some Dark Friends, I think. And Trollocs free Padden Fane.
Padden Fane, yeah.
Padden Fane. They free him, and am I wrong? Or was it implied like he called them, or
It's they. How can I best say this? They don't ever come right out and say it, but they imply that he had something to do with it. By the way, Matt, one other thing to add to the abomination thing you were saying, that I don't know if they've said it out right yet or not. They may not, but it's not like it's, well, Fane followed them into Shadar Logoth in the first book.
Yeah.
So it's not just the depths of being a dark friend, it's also having that there too.
Well, we can skip ahead like what I mentioned, like Moraine kind of like explicitly says what's going on. Well, to an extent, says what's going on with him. And she does basically say, like, yes, he followed you into Shadar Logoth, and he was essentially possessed by, was it Mordeth?
Mordeth was the name of the guy that started the downfall of Shadar Logoth. The big fog thing is called Mashadar.
Okay, but I mean, so that's something that I don't know if further in the book that's really explored more, but that's the whole thing. Like you obviously have the light and the dark one. Those are two forces that are opposed to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I understand, like Mordeth and Shadar Logoth, it's something that was actually this whole other thing that was created.
Yep.
That was actually in opposition to the Dark One, but the problem is like they went so evil, they became its own evil force.
Yep.
And Mordeth was kind of like the head of that evil. So, but it's like it's not even like the Dark One evil. It's like this whole separate other evil that was in opposition to everyone.
Yeah.
Like a third kind of force, and that destroyed Shadar Logoth, and it became like first place, to the point where even like the Dark One, the Trollocs don't even go there. It's set up in like the first book that Trollocs won't even like go there, because it's like an evil that opposes them.
Yeah.
But Fane like entered into Shadar Logoth again in pursuit of what's the word?
Taviran?
Taviran. In pursuit of the Taviran. And that Mordeth like possessed him. Like the entity, the spirit of Mordeth possessed him.
Yeah.
But then he was like also being experimented on or corrupted by the Dark One. So the Mordeth possessing him plus the Dark One's like influence has bait him into this, again, like humanoid abomination that has power. That's not just, he's not a normal person anymore. Like he can do, it seems like he has some sort of magical powers or
you're right,
like a corrupting power. So there's this attack. Trollocs like rescue Fane. They escape with the horn and the dagger.
Mm-hmm.
And so then now it's this whole, they're gonna form a unit to hunt them down, bring back the horn, the dagger too, because again, Matt, it's flat out said like Matt will die if he's away from the dagger. Like he has to be taken back to Tar-Valon and the corruption of the dagger removed, because otherwise he will die eventually. Moraine did something to him to kind of heal him a little bit, and also remove some of the corruption influence, because it was also implied like, well, not in the sense that I said Fane was, but the dagger is a corrupting influence, corrupted Matt, but it also was implied like it's very maybe because it was in Shadow too.
Yes,
but
that's
it's
exactly
very
why.
its very presence can start corrupting people around it.
It's kind of like the
it
One
did Matt
Ring in some aspects.
Yeah, it is kind of. I suppose it's derivative of that, but when I was reading it, I wasn't like, oh.
No, it
Yeah.
works. It works.
Like,
It
I didn't
works
get that
in
at
the.
all.
It works in a similar way, but like the way he handles it's very different. It's just like similar
Mhm.
concept, different execution.
Yeah. So you have a small team of Shinarians.
Shinarans, but
Shinarans.
Mhm.
Where you have Matt, Perrin, Rand, of course. And Rand, I thought they did a characterization there, I thought, with Rand. Because again, I thought, like, I'll say, like, oh, Rand was annoying to begin, like, in the beginning. He wasn't really annoying. But it's more like, Rand, stop whining. Yes, it sucks, but you're the Dragon Reborn. But I like that he did, and this is a character development, because it's like, if you're the hero of the story, what's one of the defining aspects of a hero? It's like, even if you don't want to have to jump into the fire to save people, you're the hero. It's expected of you, and you realize, like, this is gonna suck. I don't want to jump in the fire, but you do it because that's what. And not even like, oh, I have to duty. He kind of takes that way because, like, I gotta save Matt, so I at least had to go. I don't want to be. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna find the dagger, give them to these people, and I'm gonna bounce. Like, he's gonna go because he thinks like being around me is dangerous. Like, it's gonna cause people I care about harm. Like, I gotta go, and I don't want to be the dragon. I'm just gonna go away. That's his take, but it's a heroic thing because it's like you're gonna have to sacrifice and suck, and you know it's gonna suck, and you're not even doing it because, like, begrudgingly. You're like begrudgingly in since you don't want to do it, but you also, it's like, I'm gonna do it because that's the right thing to do. That's the key. Like, for your hero has to. Your hero can hem and haw. But at the end of the day, he needs to be like, this is the right thing to do, so I'm going to do it. It's going to suck.
That's actually, I think, one of Rand's biggest strengths as a character is like he has a strong sense of justice, and like as it goes on, like, you can tell, like, he takes the weight of what he is very seriously.
Yeah. There's a few others in the crew. Loyal, the
Ogier.
Yeah. Lord Ingtar, who is like the captain of the guard of the castle.
Mm-hmm.
Uno, who is like one of his one-eyed commanders. Like, he was like presented as maybe I'm thinking of this because, like, my wife and I are watching, like, the revival Dexter show that just started airing on Showtime. But Uno kind of reminded me. He doesn't have like that much space in the book, but he reminded me, if you remember the character, the Detective Dokes in Dexter. I don't know if you've ever seen it. He's the guy, if you've probably seen the meme, he's like, surprise, motherfucker. Like that guy. And every time, like, in the first couple seasons, he sees Dexter, he's like, I got my eye on you, creepy motherfucker. It's like, he always, like, he's gruff, doesn't like the main character. You know, it's like, that's Uno, because Uno kept, like, basically being like, I don't like you. Like, he's all like, I don't like any of you. Like, especially you, Rand. Like, he doesn't, he's like the hard sell.
Uno is he is comedically gruff and rough around the edges. Like, it's tuned up so much you can't help but be amused by it.
Uno's the guy. Uno's the guy that the warders tell to lighten up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few other, I guess, like, soldiers, but one of the other characters who I'll talk about him more later, but I really, really came to like is Huron, who is presented. Well, first off, like, the concept is fascinating. He said he's a sniffer, and it's like, what the hell is a sniffer? It's like, and I think isn't it kind of implied, not that like he can channel, but that his ability is somewhat tied to the source.
They don't
That's
know.
not what I got.
Yeah, they don't know where it comes from, and I think they said it's been studied, but they don't know where or how he can do it. It's just he can.
So sniffers, it's presented as, again, this is adding to like the world building, I guess. But sniffers, they seem rare, but sniffing, like he actually can literally smell violence.
Yes.
Like if you had a bar fight that happened where it's like, a bunch of guys got beat up, he's kicking off for the day, he wants to go into the tavern and get like a beer. He can walk in the door and, like last night there was a big brawl bar fight. He could walk in and be like, "Ooh, what the hell happened here?" Like he would know, he would smell immediately.
Yeah.
But and the worse the violence, the fouler the smell, the stronger the smell,
and the longer it stays around.
Yeah, and he's implied to just be almost like a regular dude. Like not that he's like this, experienced soldier, like an assassin, anything like that. Just like a regular dude. Like it had maybe some military training or some fighting, training, but more like he's the guy that it's like, I'm in the National Guard Reserve. It's like, yeah, I've got some military training, but my 9 to 5 is like, I work all day as a contractor, plumber, whatever. He's like an average Joe, but it's like they need him to help track the Dark Friends because, especially Trollocs, committed a lot of bad violence and evil. Murder.
Yep.
So they have him to sniff out like the trail, almost like a bloodhound. Like he's gonna lead them to, and he does. Like he starts going on. They start going, making a beeline. He's like, the trail goes this way. We gotta catch those Dark Friends going this way.
By the way, Matt, Huron's day job is that he is a thief taker. He finds people who have done bad stuff. So
okay, so his day job, he's almost more like he's like a cop.
He's like Dog or Bounty Hunter.
He's like a detective.
So he's like a detective, which is like, again, that would kind of work with what I'm saying, because it's like let's say you have like a platoon of Marines. It's like, yeah, like those are big tough dudes, and then you got like a police detective. It's like, is he on the same level of combat training as these other dudes? Like, well, no, but he can handle himself. Like he knows how to, like, if he's in a fight, he's not going to embarrass himself. Like he's going to give it his all.
Dirty.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But initially he's like a fun character, and he also is very, and as we see in the next few chapters, well, because there's this whole like comedic thing where Moraine got rid of all of Rand's clothes and got him like fancy new clothes.
Yeah.
And that's all the clothes he has, so he has to wear them. But because he has like fancy new clothes, like, and he's a mystery. Like people know he's important, but they don't know why. Because he has fancy new clothes, they think he's some like foreign lord. He's like a nobility. So a lot of people throughout the book call him like Lord Rand, and he gets real pissed off about that. He's like, I'm just a sheep herder.
Yeah.
From the 2 rivers. But Huron,
and nobody believes him.
No, but Huron is like, Lord Rand, like the trail goes over that way, and he's like, Huron, like I'm just Rand, like I'm a sheep herder. But Huron isn't trying to be a dick. He's being, but he actually shows like some respect and reverence for Rand, and they get along really well. And he's presented as like this, just a humble dude, like a good dude. I liked it. Like immediately, I liked the character. Like he gets better towards the end of the book, but I liked him because he's presented in a way that he's humble. He's like likable. He's just there. It's like, I want to do my duty and like bring these Dark Friends to justice and help out. So they go on the trail. Meanwhile, the Amerlin Seat leaves for the White Tower. She takes Egwene and Nynaeve with her.
So.
Yep.
You get some interludes. Yeah.
You know what I like about the Amerlin Seat is, have they gone into her background at all? They've probably hinted at it.
Very, very briefly, they basically made it seem like she is from like, like a coastal town.
She's like a
Or coastal
fishmonger's
nation.
daughter, essentially.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's made it seem like she came from like humble beginning.
Yeah, that's what I like.
100%.
That's what I like about her is it really adds a depth, and it feeds her character too, and how she acts. But like I think a lot of fantasy novels would not have the wherewithal to have like someone of that importance come from such like lowly beginnings.
Well, I did like. There's some subtle characterizations that happen with a lot of the characters, and I like it because one of the things, again, I've shared before on the show that I liked it is that I like when tropes get subverted. So the Amaryllis Seed, it's like she's supposed to be like, it's like being the pope of a religion practically.
the Pope's a good.
Like she's a
the
big
Pope's,
deal.
The Pope's a good.
A good analogy.
Actually,
Yes.
the Pope's a dead-on analogy of the Amaryllis
Yeah.
Seed.
So she's supposed to be like a really big deal, and then we have the moments where you see her talking to like Moraine or even some other like Egwene and Nynaeve. It's like she's down to earth. She's personable. She's just like a normal, for lack of a better word, like a normal character, normal person.
You have to.
And I thought that was really
Like what I talked about with Nynaeve in like the first book, and how on the reread I noticed like some of how she acts as performative. Like the Amerlin seat has a certain performative aspect to it, but she also, it's kind of like the tower is kind of like a pack of wolves. You can't show weakness, or the other ones are going to start nipping at you. So there's
Raja.
any of them really. You can't trust any of the Aes Sedai. No matter how
Yeah.
nice they seem, they will try to screw you at some point.
They all have their own goals, and they
Yeah.
don't really give a damn about anybody else's. They want to
Yeah,
get what
and
they want.
They don't really recognize people's rights or autonomy as a whole. Moraine is kind of so an interesting aspect about Moraine is not at the tower very much, and she's not spent much of her life at the tower, and that's why she's normal compared to the other ones.
Yeah. It seems like there's a political game that gets played, and she's doesn't want to be part of it, and hasn't been part of it. So yeah, she has a lot of, I guess, autonomy. The fact, and they established that she and the Amaryllis Seed, who they say her real name, I forget her real
Dewan
like-
Sanche.
Yeah.
Sanche. Like they're like friends from.
They train together.
They kind of. Yeah, they came up in the tower
'Cause
together, so
she-
they're like actually legit friends.
Yes. She gets on Moraine's case at some point about when they were, because they literally, I think, might have even started.
They arrived at the tower the same day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like their progression through the tower was remarked on as being special because it was almost in lockstep.
Yeah, and
They progressed.
And they're polar opposites, because there's sometimes it might be in the next book, but she does like get on Moraine about their past and how she was Miss Prissy and how she had to help her out with like the chores and stuff at first, because Moraine is from. Do they ever go deeply into Moraine's background? I know she's like from a privileged background.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Moraine is the nephew of King Laman Damodred.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not the nephew, the niece.
yeah.
God.
So she's. So they're kind of
she-
polar opposites, and she did not deal well in the early days with like the chores and the discipline and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, she leads back to the White Tower. She takes Egwene and Nynaeve with her. Those two meet Elaine, who we met in book 1. That's the daughter of the Queen.
Yep.
And they also meet a character named Min, who I imagine is going to be very important
popped
because
up
once she's named,
She was
then
in
she
the
pops
first book. She's in the first book.
Yeah, she is in the first book. Where?
Barrelon.
Yeah, they meet her at an inn. She's like she's like working at an inn, and she talks to Rand and says, because she can see his aura, and she tells him some stuff.
Oh, so I don't.
She's
I don't
maybe-
recall that. I don't remember that.
She's maybe
He's not there
in-
very much, but she is there. Moraine knows who she is and knows what her deal is.
she's maybe in 10 pages.
Yeah, she's only in one chapter in the first book.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look, but she's presented. They don't make it seem like she has a lot of ability.
She's
as
very specialized. She has a very specialized.
Yeah, as a lot of like channeling ability as an Aes Sedai, but that she can. They basically, you say read aura. They basically made it seem like she can look at someone and predict, in a way, predict the future, like predict that something will happen to them, or
kind of like I always imagined it as she was kind of like tarot card reading and like her own way of like of what she sees of them. But I'm pretty sure from the reread she has a very specialized yet rare ability.
Oh yeah.
Like I think there hasn't been one of her in a long time, or one with her aptitude at it.
There's not one that was known to people in the Westlands. Basically, nobody has any record of it anywhere. Now, there is record of it elsewhere, but that's for later on.
I found her character likable for no other reason than, again, Jordan does some good characterization where it's almost subtle, but he presents her as like kind of look, Egwene, Nynaeve not so much, but Egwene is like, just in love with the idea of being an Aes Sedai.
That never goes away.
Elaine is like, this is what I expected of me. I need to become an Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Egwene is power hungry, is what I would call her. Like she's way too drunk on.
It seems that a little bit, but I guess we don't see so much of that yet. But Nynaeve is more like, she wants it, but just like she understands like the practical effects of it and like sacrifices for it. Min seems like almost like, why am I here with all these like crazy bitches? And she seems more like down to earth, but kind. And it's like, I like the characterization. She just seems like a humble, down to earth person.
Well, she's probably.
I mean, which would make sense if it's like she's background. It's like I was like
She's probably the most. She probably has the most life experience out of any of them.
She's a little older than Rand and them are.
Yeah.
Okay.
She like 20? Is she more like?
She is like if we're looking at Rand, Matt, and Perrin being 18, 19, something like that. If I remember correctly, I think the idea is that she's around like 23, 24.
Okay, and then Nynaeve was 22, right?
22. You're right. She's not. No. Nynaeve was 25, so that means that Min was probably 22.
Yeah, but
Sorry, I got them flipped up.
But like she's survived on her own in a city for a while, so she's got much more
in a rough mining town.
Yeah.
But before you get into that, I just recalled something that I looked through because I was looking through like the book and like making notes last night. There was a segment which I think it may have been like between Nynaeve and Rand.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was back like in when they were at the castle, like before everyone departed. And maybe it was like after like they all had to change clothes, but Nynaeve was in like an actual like dressed up like
yeah.
And it was something really interesting where Rand was like, "Oh, you look very pretty." Like it kind of, again, small characterizations, but it's like he recognized like, "Oh, you're very attractive," but he didn't want to feel that way because it's like, this is a girl who, in the context of this, is their friend, but also like, you were my babysitter.
Yeah.
I think
she was
maybe you're only like,
over them.
I think
maybe you're only like 4 or 5 years older than me, but you're like my babysitter kid.
I think
and she like kind of blushes. It's like,
I think
don't be weird. Don't be weird, Rand. Like,
I think in the first book he comments on dancing with her occasionally at the dances and her being a good dancer. I think there's a passing reference to that at some point. So it's not like, I don't think that's the first time they've characterized that she's not like, they've to soften her a bit, I would say.
But I like that because she's kind of presented as this like kind of gruff character, or like more down to earth, like matter of fact, like down to business. which would be in part with her being like the older of the group. Like,
Yeah.
I got and she was their babysitter. It's like I'm older. I have some authority. Like I need to. And there's a lot of sense of like duty with her
Did we
because she's the wisdom of it. She was going to be the wisdom of the youngest wisdom of the village. It's like there's a lot of like almost like I'm like I've been elected the town mayor. It's like I have a lot of like not so much like I have authority. I'm gonna exert my authority. More like I have a lot of responsibility. Can't let.
Did we
So she's kind of.
Did we discuss in the first book when we were talking about stuff when she tracked them down and Lan was absolutely incredulous that she still tracked them? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I think I'm in love. Is it kind of how that ends up? But like,
yeah.
Well, that's a good segue because, and maybe jumping a bit here and there, but I'm talking about the same kind of sequence, or at the same time in the book. But they're at the tower. Nynaeve goes through the whole process of getting accepted, which means kind of, I guess, initiated to being an. Doesn't mean like she's, completely.
It's a rank in the training.
It's like it's kind of like being a Padawan in the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
No, you'd be a step below Padawan, wouldn't you, Shad?
No. Padawan is novice.
She's
you're just getting trained.
She's okay. So she's an accepted. So she's a level above like Egwene and Elaine and Min.
Yeah, Egwene and Elaine are novices.
Yeah.
They would, to me, that would be like Egwene and Elaine are like Padawans, where if you're accepted, it's almost like you're a Jedi Knight. But it's like you're nowhere near a Jedi Master. You're like at the lowest level.
And Aes Sedai would be a Jedi Knight, so she would. Oh,
she's an apprentice, not a Padawan.
Yeah,
the Jedi's. It's not a great
comparison
analog, but okay. Novices, any woman who shows up to the White Tower and is like, I'm interested in learning if I can be an Aes Sedai, it's like, okay, you're a novice. To get to being accepted, you have to have a certain amount of capacity for the power, and you have to pass through the testing for it. And not everybody that comes to the tower can do it. A lot of them aren't strong enough. And then you also have to be like a level above that in terms of strength to be tested to be an Aes Sedai. So, except that are capable, it's kind of like it's like the difference between novices being like high school students, accepted being more of college students, where they have some freedom, they can pick their studies, but they have responsibilities, and then the Aes Sedai are graduated and off doing the thing.
And with some of the novices too, just practically, some of those women they're taking in, they're just being like, okay, you don't have an aptitude of this, so we're just gonna work with you so you don't kill yourself, and then we're gonna send you on your merry way.
Yeah, there's some of the
people. Yeah, despite a lot of people, a lot of them like wash out, but it is important to get some training because if you just can channel to at least some level without any sort of training, like under strain, like it can cause problems.
Yeah, because did they talk about a story where some woman caused like some damage with her channeling in the first book?
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. Usually what happens is if it's someone who is born with the spark innate, like they're going to channel no matter what, usually something bad happens. They start a fire they don't mean to, or people die around them, or they die in some fashion.
Or they just burn their channeling ability out. Like,
also possible. And then they lose the will to live.
Yeah.
Because once you've been able to channel, once that's permanently taken away from you, it harms something in your soul, basically.
It's because the thing is, they describe it later, but so when they describe it, Matt, it's not that like you can still tell it's there, you just can't touch it. It's like they put a barrier between you and it, so it's not like you just completely get cut off. It's even worse that you know it's still there and you can't get it.
If you're burned out, you can't even sense it. If you've been stilled or severed, you know it's there, but you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Uh, so the wisdom does get accepted. I like the whole chapter where they walk through her like test because she has to go through like basically 3 tests, and they said each one's going to be harder than the next. And again, Jordan does good characterization here. It's already established at this point that she and Lan are kind of in love with each other, but it's this whole idea like they star-crossed lovers. It's like, well, we love we have feelings for each other, but we can't never like actually be together or act on them. And her final, like the third part of the test, the one that she has to, because it's presented like it almost like she's in an alternate reality. Because like one of them, she has to fight like the Forsaken.
Yeah.
But the final one is that she goes into this like, you know, idyllic scenario where it's her and Land, and they're married and they have children, multiple children together.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like in love with her, and you know, it's almost like an ordinary family, and she has to, it's like everything her heart desires, like this is what she wants, and she has to leave it to go through like this portal that is like the exit back into, you know, the tower. And this I don't know, vision of Land, or you know, simulacrum of Land is like, you know, why are you acting this way? Like, what do you mean you have to, like,
Yeah.
your children are asking for you, like like it's bedtime,
Yeah.
you can't leave. And it's like, and then she leaves, and it's basically she's just like tears streaming out her face. It's like this fake reality. It's like it's everything she wants. So it's like it is losing a part of herself to leave this, and so she does it. She does it
It's like
to become accepted, and then it basically wrecks her to do this. Like it's one of those things. It's like, oh, you did it. Like, you congratulations, you accepted. And it's like, don't fucking touch me. Like,
Yes.
give me a
Yeah.
minute. Give me a minute.
and-
like, let me be alone. Like, you don't know what I just
you
gave
know what
up.
it's you know
And
what's
the
a
hell
lot-
of it is
Mhm.
that most accepted tests are just like that. Like it is that rough.
It's
Yeah.
It's actually almost exactly like the Batman the Animated Series episode where the Mad Hatter catches him and he's gonna
For
neutralize.
Chance to Dream.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like that episode.
Well, the last archway is. The first two are different because if I remember correctly, it's for what was, what is, and what could be.
Yeah.
And you have to prove that you have the strength of character to walk away from those.
As an aside, that episode is a good example of how they were just on a different level with Batman.
It's
the
so
Animated
good.
Series.
Actually,
that holds up 30 plus years after the fact.
Actually, I think I wouldn't say it's the best episode of the series, but I think it's some of the best characterization is the one where Killer Croc ends up with the circus freaks.
Oh, that one's rough too. Yeah.
And then the one
Yeah.
kid's like, "Why'd you do it?" He's like, "Look, kid, like I just am what I am."
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's that. I thought, again, great characterization of Nynaeve. But going back to the actual hunt for the horn, you have Rand and the crew like hunting the Dark Friends and Fane and the Trollocs. And this, I mentioned it earlier, this is where there's more of the horror element. And I was almost kind of stunned by this. I'm like, this is just kind of like a high fantasy novel, but there's these elements of horror where they're chasing Fane, and they initially run into like, oh, this is where they camped, and they just see like the dead bodies of the 2 guards that I said were corrupted by Fane, that it was implied like they helped Fane escape. That they were basically like they left with the Dark Friends. It's like, oh, they become Dark Friends. It's like they were killed and like horribly mutilated. Their bodies are horribly mutilated.
Yeah.
And you get the impression it's like these guys meant nothing. They were just tools that
The
Fane used to
Trollocs got hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's implied throughout chasing the Dark Friends that the Dark Friends, the actual human Dark Friends that were part of that party, would slowly get picked off as the Trollocs got hungry, and Fane would just feed them to them. But the Dark Friends like couldn't just be like, oh, all right, well, I'm gonna bounce. They couldn't. Like, they were stuck.
No.
until Fane decided like, oh, the Shrogs are hungry. All right, you two, bye. Like, Fane's clearly in charge here, but they keep hunting them. They're chasing them. They don't quite catch them, but they keep running into like these disturbing scenarios. And the most disturbing one was like the final one they have, where they come upon this like small little like town, and it wasn't implied, or group of houses, or maybe just a farm. It was implied to be like a small. It wasn't like here's a city of like 10,000 people. It's like here's maybe like a small village of like 20 people, and it's just like empty. It's a ghost town, and it's almost like it's haunted, where it's like, what the fuck happened? Everyone's gone. Like, but very abruptly, where it's like, there's still not really, but I mean, it's like there's a there's a fire, cooking fire going. What happened? And it's obviously implied that the Dark Friends and Pat and Fane and the Trollocs came and took everyone that was there, and I'm sure they're gonna wind up in a Trolloc pot as dinner. But they see someone who has been basically crucified to one of the doors of that, and it's like, oh my god, they killed one of the villagers and crucified them, and they get closer, and it's like, what the fuck? It's not a villager, it's a Fade that Fane has
nailed to the
crucified,
door,
has killed and nailed to the door, and it isn't even stated why he did that. Obviously, it must have been like the Fade pissed him off for some reason. But again, to this point, it's been established that the Fades are basically, to use again a video game trope, but they're elite mooks.
Mm-hmm.
They're like they're presented as like not even like in.
They're elite. They're like when you play like Diablo or something. They're like an elite. Like
they're not even. It's not even like in Lord of the Rings, like the Uruk-hai. It's like, no, it's not even Uruk-hai, who are like maybe a step up from the regular orcs. They're like the Nazgul. They're like the Ringwraiths. They're like
they
are deals.
They are honestly a big, hairy, stinking deal.
Yeah, they're a step below that. The worst part is when you said end up in a Trolloc pot, because you brought up the Uruk-hai. I was just like, I really want to be like, meat's back on the menu, boys.
Meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah.
But the Fades at this point are presented as like, they're big deals. In video games, they would at least be like the mini bosses. You made it halfway through the level, you're gonna have like a tough boss. Like, they're big deals. And Fane just killed one and nailed one to a door to prove a point.
Yep.
And it's like that is it's the horror elements were like they keep coming up, almost catching them, and then it's these horror scenes where they almost miss them, but they've just done horrible damage. And then all of a sudden, the last thing you see, like, Fane has even killed one of the elite, like, monsters. And it's even shown later in the book, because again, I looked through the book, where later on, Fane tries to catch Rand and misses him, and out of anger, he kills a Trolloc. And again, it doesn't explain. Jordan doesn't actually explicitly show like how he did or how, but it's implied he has some sort of power or magical ability or something, because it describes like the Trolloc is basically whatever the fuck he did to the Trolloc. Fane, he basically crippled it. It killed it to the point where it's just like writhing in its death throes, like bleeding out in the mud, like. And it's like a Trolloc that's presented as being like they're 8 feet tall and monstrous man beasts. And he, whatever the fuck he did, this ordinary sized man took it out like nothing. Nailed a Fade to the wall like a door. It's clearly shown like whatever Fane is now, he is something horrific. Like he's an abomination.
You have hit the nail on the head perfectly.
Yeah. So we have our heroes like hunting them, but then you have this part I forget. Like I forget if like they get separated. Rand and Huron and Loyal get separated or not. They follow. All I know is like they they
They fall
camp
asleep
at
near a waypoint, and then they wake up.
they
Near
fall asleep
Portal
near,
Stone.
Yeah, portal
near a
stone.
stone, which you don't
Yeah.
know that it's a portal stone
Right.
until they wake up in like essentially an alternate reality,
Mhm.
like another dimension that. Which I don't know if Jordan explores this further
He does.
in. Oh, okay, so he may explore this further in additional books. But
It's
now it's like it was intriguing to me.
it's how he cuts the world down so they can travel quicker.
Well,
Well,
it's one of the
okay.
ways, but it's in book
So-
3.
Okay, so the portal stones, it's like they sleep next to a stone, they wake up and they're in like an alternate world.
Yeah.
Which I thought was fascinating, and it's like that there's so much to explore to this that there's other worlds. Excuse me, other worlds, other realities that are like the main reality, but not. And again, they wake up here. It's like all of a sudden they realize because no one's around, and Huron can't smell Thane and Dark Friends anymore. Like it's
Right.
very faint, and it's
Yeah.
like, well, where are they? They start looking around. They come across like some or some stuff, and they see it's like, well, that should be like a monument to like the heroes of the last age. But they look up, and it's like it's almost like it's like, oh, there's the Statue of Liberty. You look up, and it's not the Statue of Liberty. It's like a monster. It's the same shape, but it's like a monster face, and it's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
They see it's like a tribute to Trollocs, and it's like, what? That shouldn't be that way. And they soon realize it's like, oh my, we're in a different place, a place where like the Trollocs actually won. But it's also creepy because it's like desolate. There's like no other human until they meet a woman named Celine who they present as like, oh, she's the most beautiful woman Rand has ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm running late on time, so I'm not gonna like get really her, but she like links up with Rand and Loyal and Huron, and they don't suspect anything bad about her except Rand eventually is like, we're on the hunt for the horn. She gets real interested. It's like, oh, like, and at the very end of the book, they show that she is actually. It seems like she's one of the Forsaken.
Mm-hmm.
It's implied that, because she tells Min at the end, it's like, take good care of Rand, like, you know.
She tells Min outright. Her
Yeah.
name is
Yeah.
Lanfear.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, she's probably the worst of them.
She's the most powerful of the female Forsaken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She is.
She's probably
weird.
She's probably the one that is most out to stab the Dark One in the back too. They all kind of are, but she's
Yeah.
a little more.
Let me
Go ahead,
let me
Matt.
plow on ahead. Like Rand and Loyal and Huron like try to find back to like their main reality. They link up with Celine. They get chased by monsters, which you later see in the main reality. Was it the Grolm?
Rome,
Because it is-
yes.
As like bear-sized toad monsters
Bear size, yeah. Like
with
big
3
lizard bear
eyes.
things.
that Rand uses like his channeling power that way to like perfectly kill by shooting them in like their third eye. Like he like one shots all like whenever like he whenever he like shoots using the power, one shots them. But it's weirdness. But they eventually find like another portal stone. They make their way back to the main reality, and then they start making their way to Kerheen. Kerheen.
Yeah.
Where they want to like just plot. Rand wants to plot down and wait for Lord Ingtar and Nat and Perrin to like meet up with them. They're still trying to find Pedane Fane and the horn and everything. And while they're there in Kerheen, they meet Tom. Tom is actually alive. Tom from book 1, who's awesome. And
Tom is awesome.
Tom is awesome. Like he has like a new girlfriend
who's
who's like, you know, half his age, and he's like,
this is the saddest thing to me from the early books.
it's pretty sad. So we'll get that real quick. Like Tom is like, you're in Kerheen. They play like a political game here because Rand, everyone mistakes him for like some noble lord, and there's like the is the prince, king, something like the ruler of the city, and then there's like a nobleman who, and they're constantly at each other. There's other noble houses, but
Yeah,
Rand shows up.
that's
He's
House
just
Damodred, I think.
yeah,
Is
he's just
the other.
he's twiddling his thumbs, until like Lord Ingtar and the others get there, and they're gonna go chase because they tracked the horn to like the city, but they're just killing time. He wants everyone to link up, and then they're gonna get the horn. But while he's there, internally there's the Great Game. It's almost like a Game of Thrones type of thing, where it's
Yeah.
like there's a political game going on, where it's like, who's this by? Who's it for? You need to come to our party and like introduce yourself and everything. And he's like, I don't want any part of this, whatever.
It's like the oh, you tapped your toe twice. That means you're really on my side. Wink, wink. Like
Yeah, it's like
really,
weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
And Tom, who's there in the city, who knows it, is like, this is a problem. Like, you should not get involved in this. But also not getting involved, they're gonna like take that as involvement. And it's like Rand's like, I just want to leave. Eventually, Tom doesn't want to get involved. He's like, you are on your own. Like, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Like, I'm out. But Tom gets involved a little bit later on because his girlfriend gets murdered by people who are in the political game.
Yeah.
Who think that he's involved and he's associated with Rand and everything like that. So that then spurs him to get revenge on whomever. But
and he has
he
has a distinct limp now from his
from that fight with the Fade.
Yeah.
But he's still, presented as like relatively in good health. But
no, actually, it really this really establishes him as like, I mean, the other book did too, but like as a bad motherfucker you don't want to screw with.
Yeah, you finally get a handle on just how much of a big deal Tom Maryland is if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the horn is there in Carheen. I think it's at one of the houses, like a noble, one of the main noblemen who's like the rival of like the prince, the king, whatever. That you learn it's like, oh, it's because this guy, he's actually a dark friend. Rand and everything, they kind of infiltrate like this party he's throwing to try and get it, but
This party cracks me the hell up.
Yeah. Because they have Matt be like his servant, and Matt just all like salty and pissy about
he's
that.
So pissed.
Oh yeah, he's pissed about that. But then they find like that the Thane and Dark Friends, whatever, they use Waygate that's right there to escape with the horn to go elsewhere. Our heroes try to go, but the Black Wind is right there in the Waygate, so they can't go there. So they use a portal stone. They find that they go like where they like stone. They link. Don't they link up with like, because they link up with like some Ogier nearby, right?
Loyal's still there. Loyal's
still
with
there.
them, yeah. There's some Ogier from a nearby steading, yes.
A steading, yes, and they link up with that, and then they're able to travel because they trace the horn to Falm.
Falma, yeah.
Falma.
I know that one's weird because it's like E at the end of the word, but it's supposed to be Falma. I don't know what the significance of that is, but
which has been taken over by the Shan-Chan, who they get introduced in the book midway or 2/3 the way in.
Yeah,
and
because someone does some dirty dealings with the girls on the other end of things.
Yeah.
Well, so the Shan-Chan, let me go to them real quick, because this is another one of those like early installment weirdness, and I also was like, I thought this was better than Eye of the World. I was also like, what the fuck are you doing, Jordan? Where it's like all of a sudden, no later than 2/3 in, like he is like, oh, there's this other new group of enemies called the Shan-Chan, who were basically they're supposed to be the descendants of one of the heroes of Arthur Hawking, or I think he was like,
Arthur Hawking
was a previous dragon.
No, Arthur Hawking. No, Arthur Hawking was the High King who had united all of the Westlands under his rule. Like he was such a king and a conqueror that he had conquered the entire continent. And then he was like, hey, you know what, son? Why don't you take some armies and go find somewhere else to conquer too?
They're kind of like I kind of look at them like the Reavers from Firefly.
Firefly?
Yeah, I kind of like the not in like what they are, but how other people react to them.
I think for me,
Like if you
the
saw
best comparison in fiction is probably the clans in BattleTech. They left and then they came back and just started jacking everybody up.
I mean, like in the sense
Um,
that if you came across like one of their boats on the sea, you're just gonna turn tail and start running the fuck away from
that's
them.
true. That's true. You don't want anything, but you don't hear anything about the Shanchan because nobody who is pertinent to the story has met them yet. And
No.
here they are.
So basically, the Shanchan are they are supposed to be the descendants of Arthur Hawking or his soldiers. So I guess Arthur, which for the name is probably like the King Arthur equivalent.
Archer
Like,
Hawkwing. Yeah.
was like the of this continent was like the big King Arthur, and then his
Mhm.
12 descendants like crossed the ocean to distant lands, and they
Mhm.
took them over. But now they're coming back, and they want to reconquer the entire continent. But here's the thing about they're introduced late.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've taken over Falma. They've come and they've like conquered it, taken it over, and they have kind of like a regional governor, whatever, put in place. I forget what his name was.
Or Lord Turok.
Lord Turok. So they had like a lord, but he's like he's governing everything. But here's the thing about the Shanshan. And this is my personal opinion. What fucking assholes! I hate them worse than Dark.
Oh
They
yeah.
basically enslave everyone, terrorize everyone. When eventually our heroes go there, Huron immediately. There's a whole segment where Huron basically finds out, like, and because he sniffs it, it's like they when they invaded Falma and took it over, they took the entire city council, brought them to the city square, and fucking like all of them, like implied to be like not just like the council, but like their families, including children, brought them to the city square and burned them alive as a statement. And
Yeah.
it's like they also have a practice if they take female channelers, people who would be women who would be Aes Sedai,
Yeah.
and they basically enslave them, put these like magical collars on them so that they are slaves.
Yep. The Idom.
The Idom, and are they Domain? Is that
Damani.
Damani?
Yeah.
They enslave them. They have women who like control them, and they use them as weapons. They're basically military weapons. It's like they're the equivalent of like a fucking mortar shell, machine gun, whatever. They use the magical powers of channelers, Aes Sedai, as weapons, controlled by other women who you find out later on.
There's some
the reason they
stuff.
can control them is because the women who can control them essentially are like low-level channelers themselves, which is like not. That's what I took.
So okay, the Damani, the ones who get collared, are the ones that are born with the spark. They're the ones that are going to channel no matter what.
They clearly have, they clearly have channeling ability.
The Soldam were the ones that weren't born with the spark, but could be taught how to do it. So they're using a Terangreal for the Soldam to control the Damani, but they don't know why it works that way.
Mm.
And the other thing that makes the Damani so scary is that when a woman becomes an Aes Sedai, she has to swear the 3 oaths: to say no word that is not true, to make no weapon with the power for one man to kill another, or something like that, and to not use the power. It's to not use the power as a weapon unless in the last defense of her life, that of her warder, or against Shadowspawn. There's 3 oaths to it. Basically, it keeps them from just being like, hey, by the way, I've got the power. Boom, I've leveled your whole wall, because what's up, son? But the Damani don't have any restriction on that. They're just unbridled magical power.
The Shanshan enslave everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they are clearly show that they have a very vastly different opinion on human life, because they treat everyone who isn't a Shanshan or not subjected to them to be basically anyone who's out of Shan-Chan it's a different standard of life. They view it, and by that I mean everyone other than them is expendable, and they are just cruel. To me, like again, we've had discussions offline where it's like, well, you got to see what happens with the Forsaken and the Dark Ones. They do really shitty things. It's like, yeah, sure, but so far in book 2, Shan-Chan to me, like I fucking hate them more than any of the villains we've seen, even Trollocs, who are always chaotic evil. And it's like, oh, a human. Let me either kill them or capture them and eat them.
Yeah.
Like they are still not as bad as the Shan-Chan because they're just like fucking evil beasts.
So
Shan-Chan are just unrepentant monster, like evil assholes.
Their whole culture is built off of that, and I won't tell you why yet, but their whole culture was corrupted by the machinations of the Shadow. Like, they are that way because they were manipulated for their culture to be built that way.
Well,
it is...
for whatever reason. They're just assholes.
They're awful. Like, if you
Falme,
screw up in your regular everyday life, you can be stripped of basically any status you would have and sold into slavery because, well, you screwed up too much. Mm. It's kind of like the Caesar's Legion in New Vegas is my comparison. I'm sorry, I've interrupted you a lot. Please continue.
They've taken over Falme. It's learned that Thane has traveled there with the horn. He gives the horn to Lord Turok. Kind of like where he's trying to calculate favor with the Shan-Chan, which is like he has his own goals, so it's like you're not really subject yourself to them, but whatever. So Lord Turok has the horn. Like our heroes like chasing to Falme. Or Falma.
Yeah.
In the meantime, because you need a plot contrivance, Egwene and Nynaeve and Elaine and Min somehow learn, like, oh, Rand's in trouble. Like, we need to go help him. And so they leave the White Tower with the help of an Aes Sedai, who turns out is a dark friend. She's evil. And she sells them out down the river. One of the Shan-Chan, who takes
there's
Egwene
a specific
Min, right?
There's a specific classification of dark friend Aes Sedai that I think she identifies as.
Yeah, she's Black Aja.
Okay.
Which it does not exist because there's no war in Ba Sing Se, but
yeah.
Egwene and isn't it Min?
No, I don't think Min's involved. Min doesn't go.
Min's in Falma, but she's not captured. Egwene's the only one that's captured.
Oh, I thought Elaine was captured.
No, Elaine didn't get captured.
I thought Elaine. I thought 3 of them.
I thought it was Min because
I don't think so. Like, let me check.
Because Egwene gets captured and then taken to the Shan-Chan, and she becomes Mane.
Yeah,
and
she gets collared.
But I thought Min was there because it's like she wasn't, because she's not like doesn't have like the ability, so they don't see like her, so she's just like allowed to like be around.
I thought Elaine and Nynaeve got collared too.
No,
they tried to collar all 3 of them. They only caught Egwene.
But that's the thing. That's in this awesome characterization. Nynaeve basically is like fuck you and like escapes. And then it's like, we're going to rescue Egwene and we're going to fuck these guys up. So her and Elaine are like working towards that. And that's where they make a deal with like the pirate the pirate captain, sailorboat captain dude from book 1, who I forget his name.
Bail Domon.
Bail Domon. Like, and they find him and it's like, look, we're going to rescue these guys and then we need to bounce. Get the fuck out of Dodge. And he's like, I hate the Shan-Chan. I'm down. Like, you show up here at this time, we're all leaving. So there, it's a plot contrivance because it's like, oh, they got to be at the same place at the same time. Oh wow. But you have them all. Everyone's going to be in Falm. Rand and the crew is going to show up to Falm. Egwene, Nynaeve, Min, Elaine, they're all going to be there. Like, and spoilers, like eventually Nynaeve does help rescue Egwene. There's a whole thing where it's actually cathartic, where it's like Egwene they put the collar on her handler.
On the Soldom, yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a big comeuppance. But and then you have like the big finale, which I'll get into. But
By the
before
way,
that,
Matt, I apologize. You're right. Min was captured and forced into
Yeah.
the role of a servant. So, sorry
Yeah.
about that. Please continue.
so before we get to that, because I've glossed over something that, in my opinion, and I haven't spoiled myself, but I've actually looked around online, and in a 14-book series, people have said, like, of the 14-book series, this is still one of the best. People view this as one of the best chapters that Jordan, and it is notable. Chapter 37.
Okay.
This is where Rand and the crew, like, they're gonna go using like the Waygate or the Portal Stone or whatever to get to Falma.
Yes. Yes.
They're supposed to go, and I'm trying to look through the chapter as it is here. They go, and walk me through it. Like, does Rand powers activate during this?
Rand doesn't know what he's doing.
So there is an Aes Sedai other than Moraine there. Varen.
Yeah. Varen
helping,
Mathwin, yes.
Yes. And certainly the one power starts when they're about to go. The one power starts activating in
Is
Rand.
Varen a brown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And what happens next, it's the infamous Flicker chapter, where
Yes.
Rand starts cycling through alternate realities that could have happened, did happen, but it's different versions of his life. And it's, let me see, 1, 2, like 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 6, it's only 6 pages. And when I read this and I finished the chapter, I was like, what the fuck did I just read? Because it is a good fucking chapter. And again, 14-book series. Yeah. It is a 14-book series, and people in a 14-book series, mini chapters are like, this is still like one of the best chapters that he wrote.
Yeah.
Rand starts cycling through other lives that he has lived, was going to leave, alternate realities, but realities where he has been the Dragon Reborn, never been the Dragon, could have been the Dragon Reborn, but cycles through where he lives and something happened. And the word flicker is used because it's like he'll live the life and it's like it flickers and it's like now a new flicker, a different life, flicker. And it's all dark. It's like, in this life, like I lived my entire life until the invaded, and I tried to fight them, and they killed everyone in the two rivers, my family, flicker. And then, and at the end of everything, a voice comes to him. I win again, Louis Theron, which is the voice of what, Baelzamon?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is just written in it's so fucking good. Like one of the best ones, the darkest one, is like he flickers. Like the next life, it's like his father, Tam, tries to console him in the two rivers when Rand marries Egwene, and then she gets sick and dies within a week before their wedding. Nynaeve tries to heal her, doesn't. Yeah. So Tam basically, Rand's like heartbroken. Tam goes, like, gives him the Heron sword, and it's like, you need to go make your way in the world, but come back, find a wife, come back to me. And Rand goes, and he like becomes a soldier, and he fights. He becomes like part of the Queen's guards for the Queen, Elaine's mother, and he rises up the ranks, and like he feels like I should marry Elaine, but he doesn't. She marries someone else, but he rises up because he realizes, like, oh, I actually can channel, and it drives him mad. And it says he gets a wasting disease, like it starts eating him from the inside. But still, he rises up. He's like the soldier of of the entire like continent. Like that's how good he is. Until it's implied the Shan-Chan invades, and he kills a bunch of them, uses the power like outright until he's struck down by the Damane. And then it's multiple things. It's like it shows like multiple lives he lives. Like Egwene married him. And then she plunged a dagger into his heart. He thanked her as he died. He loved other women, married other women. Like 100 lives more, so many he could not count. And at the end of every life, as he lay dying, as he drew his final breath, a voice whispered in his ear, "I have won again, Luke Theron." And it's like it's such 6 pages is the main part of like explaining it.
So
it is so fucking good. I read it. I'm like, what the fuck did I just read? Because it is him living his life over and over again as the dragon, all the realities. And it is such a fucking heavy concept for a book that it's like, what is all this going on?
Yeah.
It is intense. And it's
if you
good.
have Jordan string together scenes like that for any purpose, it's going to be really, really good. And by the way, the gag that I loved was somebody took one and it was like in 4 things, and it was drawings of Rand in different settings, and it said flicker, flicker. And the last one, I think maybe it was in a wheel or in a 4-panel. The last one was an image from the TV show, and it said, "I win again, Lucy."
I thought it was.
I saw that.
I thought it was out of bounds. The one where he's rushing into the hospital because Egwene had a miscarriage.
Oh, lost. Brad, sorry, Shad. I saw that, but I also saw like someone like showed like images of the TV show, and it was like flicker, and then it was like supposed to be like Rand talking, and Rand was like, "Oh man, that was a bad one." That vision. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just intense. It was so good.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that because that's obviously a major part of book 2. To the point again, 14-book series. Everyone's still like, this is one of the best moments.
Yeah.
Or chapters of the entire series. But skipping ahead to try and wrap this up, everyone's in Falma. Lord Turok has the horn. You see Rand and Matt and Perrin and Ingtar. Like, they descend upon where Lord Turok is. Meanwhile, the Children of Light are also like involved. Like, and Matt blows the horn so that the heroes of the horn now are attacking. So it's like everyone, it's a fucking battle royal free for all in Falma, where everyone is attacking like the Shan-Chan who've taken over the city. And Huron again is awesome in this because he joins the battle, and you even have the heroes of the horn, which includes guys like Archer Hawking.
Yeah.
Saying like, that guy's awesome. That guy potentially could be a one of us. Like, because it's implied these are like legendary heroes of the ages, and when they die, their spirits go to be part of the horn, and that when the horn is blown to call the Dark One, they will come back and fight the Dark One's legions. So the fact that characterization, like one of the heroes are like, that guy's awesome. He could be one of us today.
Hawkwing like pats him on the shoulder and says, "Sometimes the wheel adds to our number," and you're just like, Huron. I love some of the names that are in it because this is like weird references. You have Archer Hawkwing, obviously that's King Arthur reference. Hend the Striker is John Henry because he has a spike and a hammer. And he's a big, jacked black dude with a spike and a hammer, and that's what he fights with. And there's like Saint Padraig, or there's Padraig, which is Saint Patrick, because the wheel turns and myth fades to legend and legend fades and all that. So these are like who they're supposed to be, but what we know them as is over here. It's just a really cool way of putting it in.
Yeah.
I also like the visual of this final battle too.
With the fog.
Yeah, and the whole city seeing this giant like kaiju battle above them.
Well, I'll get to that real quick. So before that, Rand, they storm like the house that Lord Turok is. They couple things happen. One, Rand again uses the void, uses channeling, and he uses the forms that he was taught by Lan to fight Lord Turok, and he kills him.
Yeah.
Well, he kills Lord Turok, and it's like Lord Turok's a shock because it's like can't believe that he lost to Rand, but it's implied like Rand uses the void, uses channeling to like use forms and kill him. And then they rescue the horn, but they're being chased by the Chan, and Lord Ingtar like sacrifices himself to save them, but then it's revealed like he was the one who actually out the Dark Friends and the Trollocs into the castle. He actually is a Dark Friend himself, or was a Dark Friend, but in his remorse, he's like sacrificing himself, which is like that was a big reveal. But
oh yeah, that was so good too.
Yeah, Beelzemon shows up, and then you have Rand and Beelzemon fight each other, and it's like the battle is like 3-4 pages. It's quick, but the thing about that is
impact on the series, though.
It has a huge impact because you see them fighting, and Rand is like lets himself get injured and then stabs Beelzemon through the heart and thinks he's killed him. And he thinks all this is happening like it's like tunnel vision. He thinks this is happening just right between the two of them. But what you learn like the next chapter is like actually both of you were flying in the fucking air above the city, and everyone just looked up, and it's like two dudes like battling above the fucking city, fighting it out with like fucking magical powers. And everyone saw that shit, and you can't be like, oh, gee, I guess I'm not the Dragon Reborn. Shucks. It's like you literally were flying in the air, like 100 feet above the air, fighting like magical battle with like the equivalent of Satan in this universe, and everyone saw you do it.
Well, I always pictured in my head that they like there was like it was like projections, so like they were actually very defined and large, like standing over the city.
Maybe so.
You know that what the hell was it called? It was the cowboy, the Australian cowboy video with the guy that was in the sky over the mountain horizon. Ah! Like that's kind of how I imagined it, but with a better soundtrack.
So the cat's out
that
of
happened.
The bag.
The cat's out of the bag. Everyone saw it. He's injured. There's a whole segment where he like, falls to the earth or gets injured. Min finds him. She's like, trying to hold him because he's injured. He got injured by Beelzemon. And then we mentioned before, like Celine, aka Lan, shows up, and it's like taking care of him. Like I have plans for him. Haha. And then Egwene and Nynaeve and whatever, Rain, like they all find him. But then he like finally comes to, and that's when it's cat's out of the bag. It's like they kind of the explanation from Moraine about many things about going on with Thane, how they've recovered the horn, etc. But also that it's like cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows you're like the dragon, and he's like no. But then like the Shanarans show up, and they start like, we pledge our loyalty to you, Rand, to the dragon. He's like, what? Like, no. And this is like this again, mentioned before, Uno. It's like, we pledge ourselves to you, Uno said. The others kneeling with him nodded. Your oaths are to Ingtar and Lord Agelmar, Rand protested. Ingtar died well, Uno. He died so the rest of us could escape with the horn. There was no need to tell him or anyone else the rest. He hoped that Ingtar had found the light again. Tell Lord Agelmar that when you return to Faldara, it is said, the one-eyed man said carefully, that when the dragon is reborn, he will break all oaths, shatter all ties. Nothing holds now. We would give our oaths to you. He drew his sword and laid it hilt towards Rand, and the rest of the Shinarans did the same. It's like, now shit has hit the fan. Shit's gotten real. It's like, cat's out of the bag. The dragon has been reborn. Oaths are going to be broken.
Yep.
Now the entire and you also, again, I hated them, but you dealt a major blow to the Shan. I'm sure like that's not going to get ignored. Like there's going to be repercussions about all that. So this was a book that I thought overall was good. I still have criticisms of his pacing. It was better than Eye of the World. I was
Yeah.
also, there are points where I'm like, where are you going with this? Because it jumped all over the place. It's like, this is good. Now it's
I think
edged into like horror.
the
Now it's
problem
edged
is
into like epic stuff. Now it's like, what am I? Towards the end of though, last third, what am I reading? This is like balls to the wall. You put the pedal on the gas, and now you're going, and it was awesome.
I think
So
I think he felt the need to put an ending on there, and I'm thinking he got pressure from the publishers until he had a little more power to say no.
So, by the way, just as a reminder, at the end of the Great Hunt, they mention part of the prophecies of the dragon that say twice and twice he shall be marked, twice the dragon to mark his path, twice the heron to mark his path. Where Rand had been holding that heron marked blade that Tam had given him and fighting Balsamon whenever he comes to, he has herons branded in the middle of his palms. Which, guess what? Combined with the wound in his side, we've got, Christ allegory in there as well. So that is part of the point of the series is these references and these things that come back over and over again. So, God, yeah, I love this series.
Yeah. So, I think hopefully towards the end of the year we'll be able to do a book 3 show. I think.
When you're done with it,
Yep.
Matt, then that's what we'll do.
So, I think that is it for us this week. I don't know what we're doing next week. We'll see if WWE does anything awful.
See what happens.
But this has been Matt, Shad, and Brad. We've been in 3 corners. You've been in the 4th, and we will catch you next time.